Welcome, all my fellow Washington brethren and sister. It's me, your man, Louie T. Good morning. That's not something we say very often on this channel, but good morning. I've got a lot to say today, and we came on this early because there is a lot to say. And I know a lot of you have been doing your detective work on the internet. The internet is undefeated, first and foremost. So Washington had a tough job to do in today's day and age. Damn near impossible, honestly, if we're being honest with one another. But still, the way they've bungled this thing, if in fact the name is Commanders, and at this point, let's keep it a buck with one another. The name's Commanders, right? Like, this is the worst kept secret in sports. If we're being, again, honest with one another, there's no reason to sugarcoat it. This is the worst kept secret in sports. So we'll get to that in a second. But good morning. What did you guys bring for breakfast? So I've got a parfait that I made last night and let it sit in the fridge that I will devour over the next 2 to 3 hours with you guys. I'll try not to chew too loudly because last time I was chastised for that when I was eating. Normally, it's okay to drink. It's not okay to eat, apparently, on these live streams. But I'm going to eat breakfast. I'm sorry. I'm going to eat breakfast. So I'll be munching on that from time to time during the stream tonight, this morning, excuse me. And if you brought breakfast, if you're eating breakfast right now, leave it down in the comment section. What are you munching on as we prepare for this rebrand today? And again, worst kept secret in sports. If you're just joining us, I'll go through all of the different things that have come out over the last 48 hours that pretty much, stick a fork in this whole, name debate, and it's done. Okay, at this point, we'll talk about that here in a second. And we got here early. We didn't have to get here as early as we did because the reporters were told to show up around 8 a.m. this morning. So meaning that the reveal will probably be around 8 a.m. of the 8 a.m. hour of the Today Show, meaning sometime between 8 and 9. And I think they'll push it out closer towards 9, if we're being honest, or sometime at the bottom of the hour at 8:30. So we'll be talking for a while until this thing gets revealed. But we're at this point, I think we're really just here to see the logo, to confirm everything, right? Like we know what this is. We think we know what the logo looks like, the little W that we've seen, all of that good stuff. We think we know what everything's going to look like. If you watched the Making the Brand video, if you watched the leak from the Richmond video, then you think you know everything that you need to know about the logo and all of that stuff. The only thing that we don't know is how the jerseys are going to look. And we have bits and pieces that they've shown us with the stars on it and things of that nature. So that's all we're here to see in the different colorways. Is there going to actually be a black uni? Okay, I think there will be. How deep is the burgundy? I think we already know how deep the burgundy is. Okay. How deep is the yellow? Does it look like the one I have on? How deep is the gold? Does it look like this one, or is it deeper and darker? I think it is darker. So I think those are the things that we're looking to see. The construction of the uniform, the different colors that we'll have, the different combinations that they can put together. I don't know if they'll show that today or not. I would hope so. Normally when a team comes out with a new uniform, they show you the different combinations that they can put together. Like when the Falcons first came out with their new uniform, they showed us all the different combinations, and it was like 20 of them that they could put together. With the black on black, the red on black, the white on black, the white on red, the red on all that stuff. So we'll see if they decide to do that or not. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't expecting so many of you this early. So that's pretty cool. I really wasn't expecting all of you this bright and early. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Today Show and have that in the background. I'll put it on mute though, because we don't need to hear it. I just need to see it. And then once they get to the portion of the show that we care about, then that's when I will turn it up and we will have that playing. But we don't need to hear about major storms going through the northeast region of the country. We don't need that stuff playing in the background. So I'll have that playing, but I won't have the volume up until it is necessary. So I'll go ahead and pull that up, and then we'll start to have a conversation about this whole rollout, because I've said this already, but I'm going to say it again today because it, to me, bears mentioning.
Vaccination. Children under the age of 5. Now, if approved, those shots could roll out by the end of the month. We're going to talk about all of that with Dr. Jean in just a moment. But first,
thought there was a way to just mute this thing. I don't see a way to just mute this thing. So that's fine. I can keep it lower just like that. No biggie. And I would love to prop this up somewhere. So let me see if I can find somewhere to sit this thing up. Thanks. Let's see. Grab this charger so it doesn't die on me. All right. That's not going to work. Oh, well. We'll just keep it here. It's not going to come on anytime soon, I don't think. Got too much stuff over here. All right. So let's talk about all the different ways that this thing has leaked. First of all, it's 2022, guys. So this was all but an impossible task for Washington, unless you were the most buttoned-up, tight-knit, tight-lipped organization known to mankind. You had to be New England Patriots-esque to keep this thing a secret. With the way the internet detectives and sleuths, you weren't going to keep this thing a secret. Like the Seattle Kraken was able to keep their thing a secret. Why? Because they're the Seattle Kraken. There isn't a built-up fan base that gives a shit. Nobody was really checking for that. You got to be a serious hockey fan in the Seattle area, and good luck. You know, it wasn't that hard for Seattle to keep their logo and their name and all of that stuff a secret, even though I don't think they were. The Cleveland Indians just threw it out there one day. They didn't even have any build up. They just, hey, we're getting rid of our name soon. We'll let you know when we do. And then one day they just showed up and they were the Guardians. Okay. So they didn't give us any time to try to figure out what the name would be. They just threw it out there like, hey, we're the Guardians now. All right. So Washington tried to build suspense. They tried to make this thing intriguing. They tried to make people interested in this rebrand, which is what you're supposed to do when you're an organization as big as this one, with the history that this one has. But again, in the day and age of social media and instant gratification and 30-minute news cycles, really 5-minute news cycles, there was no way you were going to keep this thing a secret. So it was a tough job. I'm not going to lie. However, in typical Washington football team fashion, if this is in fact the name Commanders, and I'm at this point, I'm up 99% sure, unless this is the biggest hoax in sports history, and if they pulled that off, I must say, they are actually brilliant. But they're not brilliant. And we know this. We know that this organization isn't brilliant. Okay. We know that these guys aren't special thinkers. Okay. We know that these guys don't go above and beyond the call of duty. We know that they do the bare minimum that is required to get any job done, which is why we're in the position that we're in right now. Okay. So clearly the name is Commanders. They're not fooling us here. So either this is the biggest hoax in sports history, or this is the worst rollout and rebrand ever in any sport or any entity. Like, they've done a terrible job keeping this thing under wraps. They did a terrible job of trying to communicate to us what was going on. Now, they tried. Poor Jason Wright, and he's a part of this mess of this rebrand and rollout. Okay, and poor Jason Wright, though, you know, he comes here. nobody comes into this organization and leaves in the same manner. He came into this thing clean, wide-eyed, looking to affect change. And he's ultimately, if in fact he doesn't work out here, and I hope he does, but we'll see, he's going to leave this thing dirty, because this is the reverse car wash that everybody goes through here in Washington, where you leave dirtier than you came in. And so he'll follow the footsteps of, Kyle and Mike Shanahan. He'll follow in the footsteps of every coach, Jay Gruden, Bruce Allen, every administrator, Scott McCloughan, all the people that have come through here. The guy that was on the business side 2 years ago that ended up staying for like 6 months and then leaving, that was hired by Washington because the NFL said, you need to hire this guy. This organization bungles things. And this is another, and I've gone through the list, okay, of things that they've done. And there's so many more that I could sit here and be tedious about. But at the end of the day, I don't know. So people have been sending me things all week, really. The last 2 days in particular, things have started to heat up because the release date, 2/2/22, was getting that much closer. So Joe Theismann, Condo P sent me something on socials where Joe Theismann was on somebody's show, and he was talking, and he pretty much confirmed that the name is Commanders. Like, Joe Theismann isn't guessing at this point. If they really wanted, and this is the thing you have to do if you're really trying to keep this thing a secret, you tell the people that you want to know, which are going to be a lot of the alumni. They all know, like Charles Mann, he knows. I'm pretty sure Darryl Green knows. Anybody that wanted to know that used to play for this team that's of any importance, if they wanted to know, they know the name of the team already. So you tell them, you keep your mouth shut. Somebody asks you a question, you deflect. You don't give them any clues, any hints. You don't play around with it. You just say, hey, I know the name. I'm not going to tell you. And you move on. Joe Theismann pretty much said, yeah, it's Commanders. And he actually told us why he thinks it's Commanders. As a matter of fact, I think I have that audio. So I'm going to play it for you if I can find it, where Joe Theismann essentially says, here's why I think it's Commanders. He says, I think it's Commanders. Yeah, right, Joe. It's Commanders, okay? And he goes on to explain probably what Washington told him, why they chose Commanders, and why we'll find out today that it is, in fact, Commanders. So I'll see if I can find it, and I'll play it real quick for you. So that was one piece of information that pretty much confirms that this thing is Commanders. Then everybody, here it is right here. I'll play this for you real quick.
Is a name that is going to be. I think the Commanders is a name that is going to be hopefully one that people will talk about going forward.
All right, so you like the Commanders as the new team name, huh?
There were so many different options, but once again, it's trademark infringement. It's getting approval from different people. It's, if you choose a name, is there a group out there that isn't going to like it? There's so many things that you have to consider. Commander, basically, it's Washington, D.C., a lot of commanders in Washington, D.C., and the Pentagon, and a lot of different branches of the service. And so to me, that's sort of the way I'm looking at it, as the positions of leadership when it comes to the name.
I dig it. I think it'll be cool too. And the old colors are still there, so should be good. And we've seen some of the patches of the uniform with that hype video. And I think the uniform looks kind of classy and streamlined from what I can tell from the video. Like, it's not too noisy. It seems pretty classy. So I think it'll look good.
The big key though, DA, is this. If you win, people are going to get excited
that's
about
right.
it.
Yeah.
If you lose, people are going to be upset about it. That's the way you do it. That's the bottom line in our business. If you win, then people will say, I like that. I can cheer for that.
Yep.
Go Commanders. Yeah. But if you lose, it's like, why did they do that? I'm not happy with that name. It's life, basically. I've always said this. Football is a microcosm of society. everything that happens in society, all the issues, all the problems, they exist in our little world of 3,000 people, roughly 2,000, 3,000 people. And it's always a reflection of what's going on in society. So if things go well, everybody's happy, and that's what we're.
So that's essentially Joe Theismann talking on a podcast, right? And he's right about one thing, which is if we win, nobody will give a shit what the name is. They'll be cheering Commanders. They'll buy up all this merch, and all will be right with the world. If they lose, they'll hate the name, as they already probably do, and life will move on. So at the end of the day, you've got that piece of audio. You've got the visual footage of a helicopter flying around Redskin Park, or whatever the hell it's called now. And they have a shot of the team merch store, the fan shop. And there's a big Commanders banner inside of the shop that the helicopter is able to focus in on. Now, again, why is a helicopter flying around Washington Park and looking for evidence? Don't ask me, I don't know, but that's the society that we live in today. No secrets will be kept if you're stupid enough to put the banner up the day before the reveal, okay? I don't know how long it takes them to put that banner up. Who's going to be at the facility where that has to be up? And they may be having a party there. You know, I don't know all the things that are going on there today. Obviously, there's going to be a bunch of different things going on. So at the end of the day, they probably wanted to be prepared. And they probably didn't intend on having a helicopter flying around and then zooming in on a huge banner that says Commander. But it did. And so that's even further proof. Again, either it's the biggest hoax and we've all been hosed and jobbed. And at that point, I'd say, touche, you got us all. That's, again, this organization isn't smart enough to do something like that. And you don't need to spend a bunch of money to confuse or trick everyone. That's the name. The name's Commanders. All right. Then there are clips of, merchandise that looks terrible. I'm not going to lie to you. The merch looked horrible. It looked like something that one of us did on our own little home pressing iron. And, we made the logo up on some, rudimentary app, and we threw it on a shirt and we said, hey, buy this. And they're going to come out with much better merchandise over time, obviously. But the first, if that's the best they have, and it's crazy because I've seen merchandise in stores that said Red Hogs on it. So that I kind of dismissed. I mean, I've seen all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's Commanders at this point. That the surprise and suspense, that portion of it is over. It's Commanders at this point. So now the question becomes, what does everything look like? The logo, alternate logos, we think we know what those look like. The little Commanders circle with the word Commanders, and then like 1932 in one corner, and then it's got like the little, DC thing going around in the circle, and then the little W, that is kind of tightly knit, that's in gold with burgundy outline. We've all seen it, right? If you watch Making the Brand, you saw all of that stuff already. If you watch the leaked video on the Richmond telecast, local news telecast, you saw the logos, and so we've seen the patches of the jersey and all of that stuff. So at this point, we know it's Commanders. We know what the jokes are going to be. We know we're going to be the commies, which, again, at this point, like, didn't you think about that when you named the team? I don't care. Personally, I don't care. I just care about winning. And the name isn't dumb. It's just not a cool name. It's just not cool. But it's not dumb. And I told you, as long as they didn't name it something dumb, I was fine. Something derogatory. They didn't do that. They just named it something uncool. There's no way to make Commanders cool, right? There's just no way. But, okay, fine, whatever. If they look cool, if the logo is dope, if they do this correctly, then all will be forgiven. But this was the worst rollout, and this team doesn't pay attention to the small granular details. That's always been the problem with this organization. They don't get the little things right, which makes it impossible to get the big things right, because big things are made up of little entities. And when you put all of those little entities together, you get something grandiose. Well, this organization skips steps, they miss blocks, and so the foundation of everything that they build is usually a house of cards, and it usually comes crumbling down. So that's the problem with this organization. They don't do anything the right way. They're always looking to cut a corner. They're always looking to skip a step. So they miss something that they shouldn't miss. There's an oversight that can't be afforded to miss and overlook, and they do it all the time. And it's old. It's really old as a fan that they can't get the little simple things correct. Now, again, this rebrand, it was going to be tough on any organization that had been around for 80 plus years as this organization had been. It's going to be tough because you got a fan base that cares. They want to know what the name is going to be. They want to find out early. So you're going to have everybody doing detective work. You're going to have people going out, checking IP addresses and looking to see, hey, what internet name has been, saved. And, we saw all of that stuff too. That the WashingtonCommanders.com was saved, and all of the teams in the league have it with this one company, and they're saving it with this company. So it means it's with the NFL, which it didn't necessarily mean it. But look, all the dots have been connected. We know the name. It's the worst kept secret in sports. If you're just joining us, the name is going to be Commanders. Okay. Surprise. We already know that. Now we just need to see what everything looks like. That's pretty much what we're going to be waiting around for in the next 2 hours or so. Is we're going to be waiting to see what this thing looks like. And
that's right, here at FedEx Field, home at the moment of the Washington football team, but just ahead, some special guests will help us unveil Washington's new.
So we're going to be dealing with that all day. So just prepare yourself. They're going to be teasing this name reveal for the next hour. I think hour and a half. I think we'll get this thing right around 8:30, more likely than not. If I had to guess, we'll see. Anyway, you guys have some comments. I want to read some of those. Let's see if any of you are eating breakfast like me. I'm about to start munching down a little bit. Hopefully all of you, I had one request this morning, which was brush your mouth, wash your face, okay? Get your mind right. Don't come here with a funky mouth, crust in your eyes, looking like you just rolled out of bed, okay? Have some respect and decency about yourself, okay? That was the one request I had, all right? You didn't have to bring breakfast. I did. But let's see what you have going on in the comment section. I'm going to go ahead and open up my parfait. Looks delish. If you guys have been following me, I tend to do a little something in the kitchen. Y'all saw my Thanksgiving post. So every now and again, I can do a little something. All right. Let's see what we got. Journey Reed kicks us off this morning. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Journey Reed, who writes, never thought this day would come. Salute, Lou. # take command. Nobody takes command. If you watched Scandal, nobody takes command. So maybe that'll be a thing. We'll see. Let's see. They're talking about us real quick.
Football team name since July 2020. There's a lot of speculation over what the new name is going to be. There'll be a watch party held for fans at National Harbor. We have live coverage as the announcement is made right here on the Today Show on News 4.
Pfizer has asked the FDA.
All right. So they're going to keep teasing that, as I mentioned. They're going to milk that for all it's worth because they're going to get a big bump in their coverage today. So expect them to tease that till I think right around 8:30 is when we'll probably get something. It could even be, closer to 9 o'clock, but we'll see what happens. Thank you for that super chat, Journey Reed. Take command, hashtag take command. Maybe that'll be the hashtag. I don't know. Oh man. Let's see. Rich says he's got French toast and a sausage. Okay. J Sauer 1990 says shredded wheat breakfast of champions. LOL. Condo P says I've eaten my peanut butter cookies, Chips Ahoy's already. I was on Twitter before this jumped off. That was breakfast for you? You must have been up a long time already. D&T TNA has oatmeal and turkey sausages. Michael Burke says eggs and a bagel. Andrew Scholl says turkey bacon, turkey sausage. Okay, I see a lot of turkey. Good for y'all. Good for y'all. See a lot of turkey out there, man. Washington football team has oatmeal, eggs, and Fireball. Really? Not a Fireball first thing in the morning. Let's see. All right, let's get to another comment. This one is from Tony P56. Thank you for the super chat, Tony P. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, plus or minus 4 segments until the reveal. Oh, it's definitely the plus side of that. You're going over 4 segments. Since we've shown up, we've already had 2 different segments. There'll be at least 3 to 4 more minimum. So that puts you at about 6 before we get to this reveal. So it's going to be a while. Trust me. Eli, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Eli writes, what's up, Lou? Not a Washington fan, but love the content. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that, Eli. For those of you who are members of the MOBB, Malik Willis will be released to you today. You'll get the sneak peek. If you're a member of Patreon, you will have access to it as well at noon today. For the rest of you, you'll get access to it tomorrow. Again, I'll be done with the quarterbacks probably sometime next week. All of the quarterbacks that are of mention and of note in this year's draft class. And then I'll have my first positional ranking, which will be exclusive to the Mob Squad and Patreon. So if you're not a member of the Mob or Patreon and you want access to all of this draft content, because there'll be a lot of exclusive content, make sure that you become a member of the squad or get with me on Patreon. But Malik Willis will be released today for those of you who are a member of the MOBB or Patreon. So thank you for that, Eli. Greatly appreciate you. And look, we're going to get a lot of commie talk. You're going to get that. You're not going to be able to run from commies, the Washington commies and all of that stuff. You're going to get the memes with it. You're going to get photos that people photoshopped of commies. And so you're going to get a lot of that moving forward. It won't be something we'll be able to avoid. Again, whatever name we chose, whatever name, if we were the Red Wolves or something else or Red Tails, they would have found ways to spin it and make a joke out of it. It didn't matter what the name was. They just made it easy. That's all. They just made it easy with Commanders. That's all. Anyway, let's see. Got another one here from Trevor Patch. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Trevor Patch, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou Morning Show. Refreshing. Side note to the rebrand circus. Thoughts on Giants and Flores interview process with Belichick double O's resulting in lawsuit against the Shield. Good for Flores for suing. I'm going to talk about that on the podcast today. I'm not going to touch that here because I got a lot to say. Look, you already know I got a lot to say about that because I already talked about that on past podcasts, including one that I had, a week and a half ago when Black Monday first kicked off and Flores was fired. And I went on that, semi-rant. And I told you I didn't want to go angry black man because it wasn't necessary at the time, even though we know what the plight of the black head coach has been in this league and what it's going to continue to be. Good for Flores. And we'll talk about that, on the podcast, among other things. There's so many topics right now. Obviously, Tom Brady retiring is massive news. I wanted to come out and do something yesterday. I just said I'll save it for the podcast. So there's so many different things to discuss, and we'll do that on the podcast later on today. So make sure that you guys stay tuned for that. Right around 4 or 5 o'clock time frame this afternoon / evening. So there's so many layers to peel back with that whole situation. And like I said, there's so many different topics that we can jump into on the show today. Let's see. Brandon Shepard, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Brandon writes, why we sound like a team Al Pacino coaching? Yeah, I mean, again, there's going to be a lot of jokes. I hear your jokes, okay? I hear your jokes. So it's going to be a lot going on. And look, that's going to be avoidable. It's inevitable. Again, whatever the name was, going to be, there were going to be jokes. Like I said, they just made it easy on everyone to make jokes about, because it's low-hanging fruit. Commies is low-hanging fruit. So everyone's going to pick it. They're going to take a couple bites out of it. We know what it is. It's not a big deal, okay? The biggest thing is that we win. And it starts today. Obviously, free agency is going to be huge. I know you guys have heard the reports about this organization reportedly taking a massive swing at a big time quarterback. Duh. We've already, somebody said that to me on Twitter, right? And said, hey, Louie T, what do you think about this? And then I click on it because I'm like, oh, what is he talking about? And it's a tweet from some reputable NFL insider that says Washington to pursue big name quarterback this offseason. And I'm like, yeah, about that. Duh. We did that whole spiel 2 weeks ago on this program when I said Ron, after the season, when he sat down with GM Martin Mayhew, pretty much told us that they're not going to leave any stone unturned this offseason when it comes to the quarterback position. They are going to be aggressive. I told you that even Deshaun Watson was on the table for this team. They're that desperate at the quarterback position. Ron is going to try to do whatever it takes to get a guy here. The problem is they won't get. And look, they've swung big in the past, okay? So that whole tweet about Washington swinging big, they've swung in the past at various positions. They swung for Amari Cooper and missed. They swung for Matthew Stafford and missed. They're going to swing again this offseason, and they're going to miss again, okay? It's not new news. It's not anything earth-shattering or groundbreaking. Yeah, we're going to go after a quarterback. We're just not going to get him. That's what I think. And if we do, wow, I'll be impressed. But I don't see them luring anybody here of note that we think can lead us to the promised land. They might get their hands on Jimmy G, and if they consider that swinging big, then we are a much lower rung franchise than we all thought. So they can't possibly think that that's considered swinging big if they're going after a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, okay? I don't think they do either, but, this organization, you just never know with this organization. To your point, this does sound like a team that Al Pacino would be giving a speech to, like any given Sunday. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Right. 2 years, 2 effing years. Can't get good designs. Basically, Washington football team merch, retyping the word Commanders with all caps on. Hashtag fail to the commies. At the end of the day, I said this organization, they're not the brightest, they're not the smartest. And that's okay. Because we already know this to be a fact. So I'm not shocked if the logo looks pedestrian. I'm not going to be shocked if the uniforms, they've hyped it up. They had Jonathan Allen and Chase Young and Terry McLaurin and all these guys look at the uniform, and they put out this little video like all these guys looking like, oh my God, it's so dope. This is fire. And wow. Okay, we'll see if those guys were just, because look, what are they supposed to do? If you're one of the guys on the team that they feel like is a leader that, people get excited about, which is what the guys that they picked to do this, to promote, and that guys that are probably going to be there for the launch of this at the stadium, I would assume Jonathan Allen is going to be there, and Chase Young is going to be there, and Terry McLaurin, and those guys are going to be there and be a part of this. If they ask you to do this, what are you going to say? They all right. I ain't really feeling them. No, you're gonna hype it up. Like, what do you expect them to do, right? So I don't even know if that's genuine and sincere, or if that's just them playing their part, because everybody's got a part to play. So I don't know if that's their role and they're playing their part, or if they're genuinely like, yo, those are dope, those are fire. I don't know. We're gonna find out. That's, at this point, that's the only piece of this that to me has any drama left, any kind of buildup. Is just the uniform now. Because the colors, they're not going to veer too far from burgundy and gold. Again, if they throw in a black alternate, that's awesome. Okay. If there's a white on white, that's awesome, because we love white on white. If there's a burgundy on burgundy combination, awesome. But at the end of the day, we just want to see what the uniforms look like, what the helmets look like, what they all look like together. And that's, to me, the last piece of this puzzle. We know what the logo looks like already. We know what the alternate logo, if everything that's been leaked is accurate, we know what the alternate logo looks like. Okay. We know what the name is already. So now all we need to do is what these things look like on the uniform, on the helmet, what the design of this all looks like when it's put together. And there's been some dope designs that people have put together for the team. And if they didn't pick one that actually looks awesome, shame on them, because there are a lot of really cool designs that people sent them that they didn't have to veer that far away from if they really wanted to make this thing pop. So we'll see what happens. Again, I don't know. We'll see what happens. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the being a member of the MOBB. My guy, King of the North, writes, I am a Commanders fan, etched in burgundy and gold. Let's go, Durs. don't. I'm not calling us the Durs, okay? I'm not calling us the Durs. But the hashtag take command, that might be something they run with. We'll see. It's simple. It seems like something just elementary enough to work. Take command. So I could see that being the hashtag of the team moving forward. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, morning, Lou. Morning, Big Money Sonny. He says, why am I up? It's 4:30 a.m. here, so you must be on the left coast. Oh, yeah. It's my morning old man bathroom ritual. Yeah, the team botched this. Get ready for Jimmy G. You've been saying that for a very long time, and I don't think you're wrong in your assessment that we're going to end up with a Jimmy G, Mitchell Trubisky, Marcus Mariota type. I think you're absolutely spot on with that assessment. I think the team is going to swing for the fences. I think they're going to go after Russell Wilson. I think they're going to go after Aaron Rodgers. I think they're going to inquire about Deshaun Watson. I think they're going to go after Derek Carr, but none of these guys will be available. And if they are, they won't be available to this team because none of those guys will want to come here. As I've mentioned before, there's no incentive for anyone to come here when there are better options available. Tom Brady just retired. Don't you think Tampa Bay is a better destination for any quarterback than Washington? They just won a Super Bowl last year. Okay. Don't you think a team would, any player that's at the quarterback position would be dying to go to Tampa Bay now that Tom Brady's retired? The New Orleans Saints is a better destination than Washington. The Pittsburgh Steelers is a better destination than Washington, Denver. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, why would you want to stay out west? Why would you want to go to Denver or Pittsburgh? You've got to deal with Herbert because they have good teams already. If you're a quarterback, your ego is such that if I go to this team, I'm going to make them infinitely better. And I don't care about Herbert. I don't care about Mahomes. I don't care about Burrow. I don't care about Allen. I like my team, and I think I'm just as talented, if not better than those guys. So me coming to Pittsburgh or me coming to Denver is going to give us a chance to beat those teams. So they're not thinking like, oh, my God, Herbert, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, I don't want to go anywhere near the AFC. They're just thinking, what's the best situation for me and my family? And when you look at those rosters are in a much better position than that of Washington, okay? So the Denver Broncos have a better roster than us. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a more dominant defense. I don't know if their offense is that much better than ours. Their offensive line isn't better than our offensive line, but they've got weapons. Now their weapons, some of them tend to drop the football, but they've got some stuff in Pittsburgh. Same with Tampa Bay. So at the end of the day, we're way down the list of potential teams that quarterbacks would be looking to pursue this offseason. So once again, you're probably right. We'll probably end up with a guy along the lines of a Mitchell Trubisky or a Marcus Mariota or a Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's pray that it's not Jimmy Garoppolo. I'd much rather go into next season with Mitchell Trubisky and or Marcus Mariota, even though neither those guys are dead ends as well. Like, there's nothing that's going to satisfy this fan base's hunger to win and to have a quarterback to lead us there that we can get this offseason. I feel that is going to be in our wheelhouse, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. Big Money Sonny. Abner Duran, my guy Abner. How you doing, man? It's been a while. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Abner writes, hi, Lou. Having some scrambled eggs along with ham and mixed feelings. That's for part of breakfast today. That's short. Mixed feelings or disappointment, frustration, excitement, anxiousness. All of those are part of breakfast this morning. So have at it. Dexter Williams, he says he's eating a pear and pineapples. All right, so I like the fruit there. Condo P said, hey, look, I had to treat myself to start the day. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with spoiling yourself. Somebody's got to do it, right? Thank you, Abner. And enjoy your eggs, your scrambled eggs and ham. And don't let your mixed feelings ruin your breakfast either. Thank you. Drinkable Measy says bacon, egg, and cheese. All right. Big Money Sonny says eating cereal and coffee. That's a unique combination. Cereal and coffee. Okay. I can dig it. Let's see. Demetric Burns. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, coffee time, HTTC. So is that a thing? HTTC? Hail to the Commanders. I wonder if so. That's an interesting thing to think about too. What will be the hashtag? Is it going to be Take Command? Is it going to be HTTC? Is it going to be both of them? Like when you're on Twitter and your hashtag becomes official, they put a little logo next to your hashtag. If it's something that they already have in the, if they already have the emoji in the database that matches your logo, or they can make one for you. You know, it'll be interesting to see which one they try to use as their official hashtag on Twitter and on IG and things of that nature, and try to get you to take on a life of its own. Do they want to continue on with tradition? Everything about this process has said that we want to keep one foot in the tradition door, but we really want to move on and kind of start anew. So if you're starting over, then you don't want HTTC. you want to say take command. If you really want to continue to have your the pulse of the past and kind of keep a firm grasp of that, then I guess you move forward with HTTC. I think it's more so take command than HTTC. We'll see. We'll see. That's actually interesting. Let's see. Thank you for the super chat. Joe the Hat. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Joe the Hat writes, bagel with the smear. Hashtag Red Wolves holding out to the last minute. Hey, you go out here and you hold out, man. You hold hope. All right. You hold that hope. Joe, you hold that hope, man. Keep hope alive. All right. Dylan Hinton. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Dylan Hinton writes, I just hate how generic the name is. I think you're going to get that from a lot of fans. They don't think that the name's creative enough. Like I've been hearing a lot lately. I would have much preferred Armada. I don't really know how I feel about Armada. You know what I'm saying? I get it. That's different. But I don't think, Armada, it sounds cool. And it's hard to make fun of, but I don't know how I don't think it's easy to sell Armada. Sounds like a motel or something, or a hotel. And I said this before and I'll say it again, no matter what the name ended up being, there's going to be criticism no matter what. Even if it was Red Wolves, which I think most of if there was a poll taken 3 months ago before Jason Wright had the president's brief and he said that the name wasn't going to be Red Wolves or any kind of variation of Wolves. If there was a poll taken amongst Washington fans, if they gave all of us a survey card to fill out online and we all did it, I think that Red Wolves would have won if that was one of the options. I don't think it would have been overwhelming. I think Red Wolves would have won with like, say, 52%, but that would have made up the vast majority of the fan base. And I think you'd have had another name that might have come in at 35, another name that might have come in at 15, and hell, I've already surpassed 100%, but it probably been a bunch of other names making up, the percentage, but it wouldn't have equaled up to, Red Wolves. And even with that, you would have had people, the other 48% that didn't choose Red Wolves as the option, they would have been disappointed. There was no way to win here. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point. I don't think you were going to get that. So, Brian Hayes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Brian writes, hey, Louie, I know you probably covered this already, but thoughts on the Giants' hire of a GM and head coach? Should we be worried? I actually talked about this on the last episode of the podcast. So you might want to listen to that. I mean, look, I already told you, I tend not to worry about what everybody else is doing. Feel like if we take care of our business, become the best football team and organization we can become, that gives us the best chance to win. I tend to spend less time worrying about what the Giants, Eagles, and Cowboys are doing. Now, again, you keep your enemies close and your friends close and your enemies even closer. So, of course, I'm keeping tabs on what they're doing. And that's why I talked about the hire that they made. I'm going to tell you, I think they've done a phenomenal job to this point, the Giants. And I wouldn't be shocked if there's a quick turnaround for them. And Daniel Jones actually turns out to be good because the head coach that they hired is a really good offensive-minded guy in Brian Daboll. So go listen to the last episode of the Louie T Network podcast if you're interested. And I talk all about the Giants hire and what I think it means for them. And he also said something that I thought was impactful. I don't think their defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, is going to get a job, not just because he's black, but that doesn't help him at all. But I don't think he's going to get a job. I don't think he deserves to be a head coach. I mean, what he's done with the Giants defense is cool, but it's not overwhelmingly great to where he needs to be hired immediately. That said, I think him coming back as the defensive coordinator is smart. And he's already said, has Brian Daboll, that if Graham doesn't get a head coaching job, which he won't, then he wants him back as his defensive coordinator. I think that's smart too, because I think he's done some really good things with I think he's overachieved with the defense that it has some talent, but it's not overly talented. So I think you keeping the continuity there defensively, I think is smart on the part of Brian Daboll. Anyway, I digress. Brandon Shepard, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Brandon Shepard, who writes, so you heard about the big swing. If we do bring in an A-Rod or an Adams, and will Adams take Terry's number or what? No, well, first of all, that's not how that works. Terry would have to give up 17. Adams can't come in here and just forcefully take it. Terry would have to say, you know what? I don't mind wearing something else. And hold on, let's see. Yep, they did the whole tease thing again. So it's saying right now that they're gonna have it at around 8:12. They're gonna have the team reveal at 8:12. So roughly 20 minutes from now is when they should be giving us something. That's what they say. But they can keep pushing it back if they like. I think we'll get it around 8:13 right now. Anyway, so we've been reading things about Aaron Rodgers, and he says that wherever he goes, he wants Davante Adams to be there. That's cool, that there could be some sort of a package deal there. But again, the Packers are in total control of that situation. Why do I say that? Because Davante Adams is no longer under contract. But guess what? The Packers can franchise tag him and say, you're not going anywhere. So if Aaron Rodgers wants to play with you next year, he'll be doing it here in Green Bay. Like, they can do that. So, and I think they will ultimately do that to Davante Adams. I don't think he will get to hit the market. I think they will keep Davante Adams in Green Bay for at least one more year. But as far as Terry is concerned, Terry's not giving up 17. I think Terry, you saw that big diamond encrusted piece he's got with him, with the little karate move he did back against the Dolphins. He's not getting rid of 17. They can't get that big ass pendant and then switch it up. Yeah, but those guys aren't coming here. They're not coming here. Gabe Baby, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Gabe Baby writes, Lou, what is wrong with Jimmy G? Better than TH4. That, first of all, that's not hard to do. I mean, Taylor was, first of all, is he really better than Taylor Heineke? I'm not sure, because again, if you put Taylor Heineke on the 49ers, I think he'd do some really good, because that's a really simple offense. Like, that's why Robert Griffin III was so successful here. They dumbed it down. That's what they do in San Francisco. They don't do a lot of different things in San Francisco. It's not hard. They run the football. They run the same damn drift route that they were running back in 2012 with Pierre Garçon over the middle of the football. They're running the same route with Deebo Samuel. It's not hard. It's not rocket science what they're doing in San Francisco. And I'm not saying that makes it easy, for anyone to just come in. You still got to make the throws. You got to make the right decision. But a lot of Jimmy G's throws are easy throws because they run the football so effectively. Okay? They make it look different, but it's the same shit, same concept. So Taylor Heineke could probably run that offense. Look, he might be better than Taylor Heineke. That's not saying much, though. Okay? Taylor Heineke is an NFL backup. So if you're telling me he's better than a high-level NFL backup, I've said this already, but if you're telling me he's better than an NFL backup, okay, that means he's a low-level starter at best, is Jimmy Garoppolo. So if that's what you're aiming for, then you're aiming for mediocrity, and that's not what we want as a fan base. We've dealt with enough of that over the years. Okay? Jimmy G isn't good. He's not good. Okay? He's not a good starter, at least. He might be a great NFL backup, but he's not a great NFL starter. That's what we're looking for. Someone that will change the game, and Jimmy G is not that. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Metaphor writes, can we change to the COMM squad? The COM squad? Oh, man. I'm going to pass on that one. The COM squad. That's funny. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Trev. My guy Trevor writes, brewing matcha for the day. Wife Snarky asks, what are you watching? I get that a lot from some of you. Wives want to know, what the hell is this guy talking about? Why are you watching this? I respond in my Louis T song voice, you already know. Wife rolls eyes, walks away. She's like, okay, I'm not dealing with your foolishness this morning. And you know what? Good for you, Trev. Good for you. I love it. I love it. Love it. Want more of it. Honestly. Heavy Chevy. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Heavy Chevy. Yes, FL2's Brian LaFemina was that name that I was trying to think of when I said the guy on the financial side was here for like 6 months and then was fired after he told the truth that, hey, we're not selling out. We don't have a season ticket waiting list anymore. Every game is not a sellout, which Bruce Allen was trying to lie about year after year. And we're a sleeping giant here in Washington. And they didn't want to hear any of that, okay? They didn't want the truth out there to the people. So, yeah, that's how this thing works. Anyway, Heavy Chevy says, am I wrong for thinking Jimmy G is better than any quarterback Washington has had in 30 years? Nope, I'm not. Yes, you are. You are, because who did Kyle Shanahan want before he got his hands on Jimmy G? He got his hands on Jimmy G because he couldn't get who? Kirk Cousins, because we were stupid enough to not trade him. And we didn't want to get a first-round pick for Kirk Cousins, knowing we were going to lose him because Bruce Allen is a dum-dum. Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback we've had in the last 30 years. Stop fooling yourself, okay? Cut it out. I know you don't want to like him. Excuse me. I know he chokes in the clutch, this, that, and the. Stop. Jimmy G is not better than Kirk Cousins, okay? He's not. And I venture to say that if Kirk Cousins was the quarterback of the team in 2019, they win the Super Bowl. If Kirk Cousins was the quarterback of the 49ers, because it's not like Jimmy G's out here slinging the rock around and winning them football games. So if Kirk Cousins, who just had the best season of his career for the Vikings this year, is the quarterback of the 49ers, maybe they win the Super Bowl this year. I don't know. But cut it out, okay? Jimmy Garoppolo is not better than every quarterback that we've had over the last 30 years. Stop, because Jimmy Garoppolo is not that good himself. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Metaphor, writes, Prez is hail to the chief, so HTTC makes sense. I can see that. But again, I don't know how they're going to go about it. I don't know what they're going to be thinking. Like, the president is hail to the chief, but are they thinking that? I mean, I think you're giving our organization too much credit. They're not. I don't think they're thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody, I was talking to a guy on socials about a month ago, and he was giving me the reasons why he thought it was going to be Red Tails, and he was getting real deep and philosophical. And I'm like, dude, seriously? You really think that Jason Wright and the brass are out there thinking this deep into why they're going to have it on February 2nd? No way. There's not a chance. Okay. There's no way they're thinking about it in that, light. They're not thinking about it that deeply. He's like, you know what? You're right. I'm giving them too much credit. I said, you're damn right you are. Okay. So, they're talking about the rebrand. It's they're teasing it because we've come up on the bottom of the hour, or the top of the hour, excuse me. So they're talking about the rebrand now. But again, I think we'll get that in about 15 minutes or so. Let's turn it up, make sure they're not saying anything important. They're not. They were just teasing it because, like I said, top of the hour has hit. We're now, I feel like a weatherman. It's now, the time is, or, I'm doing weather and traffic. The time is now 8:01 a.m. Weather and traffic on the 9s here on the Louie T Network. So, yeah, I don't think they're thinking about it like that. We'll see what happens. Leon Hall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Leon writes, I thought the fans' vote mattered. Yeah, they wanted you to feel that way. And bless your heart, and I know you didn't, because you're laughing. But bless your heart if you thought the little survey that they gave season ticket holders mattered. Look, all of that was a part of the rollout. Jason Wright made it. And I told you, we talked about this 6 months ago. I told you Jason Wright was going to try and make fans feel like a part of this. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to make the fans feel like they're a part of the rebrand. Like they had some say-so in what actually is happening. We had nothing to do with this. But every step of the way, they were trying to get input. They had people send in, artwork and different suggestions and all this stuff just to make people feel like they were a part of this process. They sent out surveys for season ticket holders to fill out as if they were actually taking that stuff into consideration. They literally wasted money on paper and resources sending that stuff out because that shit didn't matter. But to them, it was worth them doing that to make people feel like they were a part of the process. Some people were so excited when they got that email and they said, hey, they emailed me and they asked for my opinion. And I'm like, oh, really? Did they? How sweet. But that's what they were supposed to do. Make you feel like you're a part of the process. F. Altus, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. F. Altus writes, regardless about what the name is, commies, this rollout has been spectacularly incompetent. Hashtag bring back Brian LaFemina. Look, it has been. I agree. Look, I said this at the top of the show, and I think it bears mentioning. In 2022, it was going to be really tough, incredibly tough to keep this thing under wraps, especially in today's day and age that we live in with everyone being a detective. Any little crumb that they dropped, and you had to be really shrewd to not drop some of the crumbs that they dropped. And some of the crumbs that they dropped, you didn't have to drop that crumb. Why did you drop that? Because we're the Washington football team. And that's what we do. We reach in the cookie jar. We devour the cookies that we weren't supposed to eat. And then people say, did you eat the cookies? And we go, whoa, I didn't eat any cookies. As we've got chocolate all over our mouth and crumbs falling out of our mouth as we deny that we didn't steal the cookies out of the jar. That's what we do. We don't take our time to do the little things to make sure that this thing was a secret. If the cookie jar is facing a certain way and it says cookie jar, don't put the cookie jar backwards where we can't see the words cookie jar. That means somebody touched it. Like just the little things that they don't think about. So I'm not shocked that this rollout was botched, but it wasn't going. I don't care who you were. Something was going to get out. I don't think as much would have gotten out if they would have been a lot tighter in their technique in rolling this thing out. But yeah, it was sloppy. I'm not going to lie. It really was, truly. Let's see. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Big Money Sonny, who writes, my man Lou, it really doesn't surprise me how the team screwed up the team store footage. I'm actually laughing about it. What's wrong with me? You shouldn't be feeling bad about that. Nothing's wrong with you. I laughed about it when I saw it last night. Like all you can do is laugh. I've talked about this before. Laughing stops you from crying or getting upset. Because, let's be honest. How incompetent do you have to be to think that wasn't somehow going to get out? If it wasn't a team helicopter, it was going to be someone, outside of the facility with a phone that zoomed in. Someone would have gotten that footage regardless, somehow, some way, but why not just wait? Like, why not have that? I don't know how long those types of things take. Just looks like a big banner that's in the team store. Why not wait until this morning? Have them show up at 5 this morning and put the banner up. Like, I don't know how long it takes. So I can't say. Maybe that's a whole day process. Maybe it took them 2 full days to get that large banner up because it's a pretty big banner. But if it's something that takes a couple of hours, why not wait until this morning to do that? Just a little, just a little small detail. That's it. I laughed too, so don't feel bad about that. That's all you can do, honestly. Game Changer Geo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Game Changer Geo writes, the misdirection efforts is pretty embarrassing. Go Commanders. I really thought that there would have been more of that, trying to send us off the trail and the scent. And if they really wanted to not make this as easy as they did, they could have not done the making the brand videos. Like, they tried to be so inclusive that they pretty much spilt the beans themselves. Like, they botched the whole down to the final 8 names thing with Tanya Snyder. They didn't have to do any of that stuff. They could have come today and they would have had more people engage with this if they still thought Red Wolves was a name that. Now, I know why they did that, because it's when you know people are going to be disappointed about something, you try to let them down easy. Like when Mike, man, I always bring up this example because it's a great one. When Mike Mayock knew he was going to do something that Raiders fans weren't going to agree with, he made sure he told them over and over again, I'm going to surprise you with what I do with this first pick in the draft. You know, we're picking number 4 or number 5, and you're going to be shocked at what I do. And then he takes Cleveland Farrell, and they're like, why the hell did you do that? Told you were going to be surprised. Like, you try to make sure that people are bracing themselves. So instead of them letting the people who were rabid about Red Wolves think that the name could be Red Wolves, they just went ahead and knocked it out. And they got Jonathan Allen, Jason Wright, and Doug Williams up there. It's coming at 8:13, so in 4 minutes. So technically speaking, they're going on commercial right now. They come off commercial. We should be seeing them talk about the new name and see them reveal this thing, and then the rollout, and we'll see how they go about it. So Jason Wright, Doug Williams, and Jonathan Allen are sitting up there with my guy from NBC Dateline, Secrets Uncovered. Anyway, me and my wife like to laugh at that show. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, at this point, we should be called the Washington Cigarettes because we're going to get smoked with the Jimmy G or whatever trash that will be leading us. Again, they're going, whatever they do at quarterback, if it's not a big name veteran that they think can lead us to the promised land, if it's one of these ancillary guys like a Jimmy G or Mariota or Mitchell Trubisky or somebody like that, they're still going to draft a rookie. Jimmy G is wherever Jimmy G goes, more likely than not, he'll be a stopgap. No matter what. I don't think anybody's going to trade for Jimmy G and think they've solved their quarterback issues. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't going to trade for Jimmy G and be like, hey, we got our guy. We don't need to draft a quarterback. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't going to trade for Jimmy G and say, hey, we got Tom Brady's replacement for the second time in Tom Brady's, well, not in Tom Brady's career because he's no longer playing, but for the second time in Jimmy Garoppolo's career, he's going to be following Tom Brady, trying to follow the Tom Brady act, if you will. No, the Buccaneers, wherever Jimmy Garoppolo goes, he won't be viewed as the long-term answer. All right. Let's see. It is 8:11, so we're 2 minutes away from them releasing it to the masses. Raw Rebel, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Raw Rebel writes, Jimmy G would be Jason Campbell 2.0. Mediocre. Yeah. I'd even say that there was more hope with Jason Campbell because we drafted him. There was more hope. Jimmy G, we know what he is as a quarterback, which is why you can't get so excited about a guy like that. We know what Jimmy G is. We know what he is. John McDowell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy John Mack writes, If you hear the sound of thunder when they announce a new name, it's my 3 deceased Redskins fans, aunties showing they're pissed off at the new name. Look, there's going to be a lot of people not happy about this. A lot of people rolling, turning in their graves, this, that, and the third. Look, it is what it is at this point. We already know what the name is. Now it's just a matter of, what it looks like. So we'll see what happens. Jason Rogers, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Uncle Jay, writes, good morning, Lou. Good morning, chat. Likewise, I second that comment. Good morning to everyone. For those of you just joining us, and I see we just got an influx of viewers. The name is about to be officially released, along with the logo and the jerseys, and the rebrand and reboot will be officially complete. And then we can finally move on with our lives. There'll be no more detectiving, no more sleuthing. We'll have finality to this situation, and then we can move on to the things that really matter, like what we're going to do in free agency, what we're going to do in the draft. So back from commercial. Here we go, guys. I'm going to turn it up so you can hear it.
Yeah, this is a moment, fans of the Washington football team, that they've been waiting for. It's the unveiling of their new name. That's right. Craig joins us now from FedEx Field with the big announcement. Craig, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Over the past 8 decades, the team that now calls the stadium home has become one of the most storied franchises in all of sports. It's about to embark on a new chapter this morning with a new name. We're going to get to that big reveal in just a minute. But first, how the franchise arrived at this moment. They've been grinding it out on the gridiron for more than 80 years. The Washington football team winning 3 Super Bowl championships while building one of the NFL's most dedicated fan bases. For nearly all of that time, the team went by the Redskins. That name and the imagery on the team's uniforms drawing criticism and protests for years among indigenous rights groups. Despite owner Daniel Snyder saying he'd never changed the name, pressure from fans, lawmakers, and sponsors led the team to announce a change in July 2020.
What it really shows is that there's no longer any excuse for any team across professional sports, collegiate or K through 12 to hold on to these Native American mascots and team names.
The team kept its signature burgundy and gold and played by the simple name Washington football team for 2 seasons while it worked to settle on a new name. The change coming at a time when the organization has faced recent allegations of sexual harassment in the workplace from 2006 to 2019. With Congress set to interview former team employees tomorrow. The team has no comment on any investigation. The Washington football team is now hoping to turn the corner with its new name and new look. Teaming up with fans, the franchise took in more than 40,000 submissions for possible names. The team's new name has been a closely guarded secret. With a teaser video showing players...
Closely guarded secret. Closely guarded secret. That's hilarious.
The team, how much of this is about starting a new chapter in Washington's franchise history?
It's a little bit of both. To me, it really is about renaming the team. But I also think it's about turning the page to a new chapter. I really believe that because, again, we've had so many things that have happened that have been unfortunate. But as we go forward, what I'm trying to do is get us to, buy into judging us now and to where we're headed as opposed to where we've been.
By the way, we should mention I'm part of the Washington football team's fan ambassador network, which gives the team feedback on the game day and overall fan experience. But now we're joined by team president Jason Wright, along with his senior advisor, NFL legend Doug Williams, the first black quarterback to start and win a Super Bowl in the NFL when he played for this very team. And we also have team captain Jonathan Allen, who, oh, by the way, is heading to his very first Pro Bowl this weekend. Going to fly out shortly after this conversation. Gentlemen, good morning to you. Let's not make folks wait. Let's not drag it out, Jason. What is the new team name?
Doug, what is it? We are the Commanders. We are the Commanders.
The Commanders.
Yep.
The Washington Commanders.
There it is.
Oh, wow. You didn't waste any time there.
There it is.
Okay, so there's the new uniforms. So you got burgundy, you got white, You got a black.
How do we settle on the
Okay.
names? You know, it's a name that has the weight and meaning befitting a 90-year-old franchise. It's something that broadly resonated with our fans. And it's something that we believe embodies the values of service and leadership.
All right. So I don't need to hear all that. And I know my feed was behind because I'm streaming it. But all right, you guys got the name. Now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to see if I can pull up on the Washington site because I'm pretty sure they're linking it up together. They just showed us imagery of the new uniforms. Let's see if they have it on the website. Their website might be crashing right now. It's not pulling up. I wonder if they changed the name of the website. Let's see if Washington Commanders website works. See if anything pops up with that. No, nothing yet. Oh, so it's just commanders.com. Okay. So it's just Commanders, not Washington Commanders. It's just commanders.com. All right. So now let's see. Yeah, they don't have it yet. But for those of you who watched the Today Show,
Leadership.
they showed us a glimpse of the uniforms. So they showed us a burgundy on burgundy, a white on white, and a black on black. So black is now officially a part of the new color scheme. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the black on black look pretty damn clean. Okay, they look dope. I wonder what they're gonna do for the end zone. Like if they wear black on black, are they gonna color the end zone black? I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I would assume the new end zone is gonna say Commanders. See what else Jason Wright has to say.
Former coach there, Coach Flores, now suing 3 teams, suing
Okay.
the league itself.
So they got it. You can kind of see it in the background. They got Chase Young in the white uniforms, Terry in the burgundy, and Jonathan Allen in the black uniforms with Washington Commanders in the background. So you see the Commanders word art. I mean, it's pretty average. You know what I mean? It's pretty just Washington at the top, couple one line, Commanders inside, and then a line at the bottom. It's pretty standard. It's nothing really too unique. I mean, it is what it is. Jeremy Shorter, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Jeremy writes, I hope we don't find out later that they could have gotten Wolves' name for like 5 or 10 million. It's the only name people liked. I think it would have been the name that would have been the majority choice. So I don't think all fans wanted, Red Wolves, but I think the majority of the fan base, more so than any other name, would have wanted Red Wolves. So, and I've said that before, but it is what it is. AR, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. AR writes, none of this matters if we don't re-sign Terry, which they will. Love your content from the UK, and I know we might just scare me every game if he leaves. He's not going anywhere. I told you that. They're not going to let him leave. Jonathan Allen was a guy that they wanted back that they re-signed. Like, there are certain guys that they view as pillars, as foundational building blocks of what's to come. So I think I'm about to go to the, let me go to the, I want to pull this up for you guys as we're sitting here. So Bleacher Report has the uniforms on it. So I want to see if I can pull it off of there and get a picture up for you guys to look at. So You can see it if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it already. Let me see. Washington football or Commanders uniforms. See if that already popped up already. Yep, here it is. I'm going to pull this up for you guys, and I'm going to show it on the stream so you can see it. And so you guys can kind of get a look at it. And there'll be more of these out so you'll get a better feel. Like, they didn't do a good job of showing us the entire helmet and, you know, things of that nature. But this is what we have so far. So I'm going to pull this up for you guys. So, all right. So that's done. And I'm going to pull this up for you guys. So let's see. Oh, I know what I can do. I know exactly what I can do. I'll just put it up here. On one of these little resource boards that I have. Add this real quick so you guys can take a look at this and tell me what you think. Okay. Image, unis. So I'm going to go ahead and resize this so you can see it. All right. So that is what the uniform looks like. All right. That is what the uniform looks like. As you can see, Jonathan Allen has the black uniform on. Terry has the burgundy one, and Chase has the white one on. From what I'm looking at, the black uniform, all the uniforms are different. So the burgundy one says Commanders across the front. The white one says Washington. And then as you can see, the black one has Commanders on the left shoulder, on the patch on the left shoulder. The numbers have the little breathable dots on it, as you can see. And the numbers are different on the white uniforms. So the numbers are burgundy and they're yellow on the black and the burgundy jerseys, but it's burgundy on the white jerseys. It kind of, I'm not going to lie, they do look dope. I mean, I'm feeling the uniforms. I want to see the whole helmet. I mean, we can see they've got the stripe down the middle. They've got the little W or whatever on the side of the helmets. It's not bad. I mean, I like the way the uniforms look. I don't know about y'all, but I like the way the uniforms look. And I like the helmets. They kept the matte look of the helmets. I think the black one is actually going to be shiny. So you guys tell me what you think. I think that they actually did a pretty good job of I think they did a pretty good job of styling these uniforms. You know, what do you guys think? I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? I'll move this down. I'll resize me. So you guys, if you're joining me late, you'll have a chance to look at it. And tell me what you think. These are the new unis. I like them. I mean, it's not terrible, right? I mean, I think I might be better off in this top corner. That way I won't be obstructing any of the uniform. So what do you think? What do you guys think? There it is. That's the new uniform now. Again, I don't know if they'll mix up the combinations. Can we get burgundy top, white bottoms? Can we get, burgundy bottoms, white top? obviously you can do black on black, white on white, burgundy on burgundy, but you can also intermingle the three, so it can give you about 12 to 18 different combinations, depending on how, because you can 12, I think, is the most. Well, no, it's 18 because you can, no, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I think you could get 9 different combinations out of this, because you can get the burgundy tops, white bottoms, the burgundy top with any of the other bottoms. So burgundy, white, and black, that's 3. Same thing with the white tops. So I think you can get 18. I think I said it right the first time, because you can wear any of the tops with 3 different pants. You can wear any of the bottoms with 3 different tops. So it's either 9 or 18 different combinations, whatever the case may be. What do you guys think? This is the new logo. W, as you can see, I think the black uniform has the shiny helmet, and then the burgundy helmet is the matte look, which I think looks good. It looks clean. They got the stripe down the middle on the burgundy. They don't have the stripe on the black helmets, just the W. Like I said, I don't have any problems with the look. You know, I want to see what the back of the uniforms look like, and we'll get all of that as the day progresses. They'll release more. We'll have a better look at the helmet from the side view, the back view. We'll get the side view of because I can see on Chase Young's side of his jersey, there's something different there. Probably just a Nike check, but it looks like it's a little bit of mesh there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I want to see the full jersey, what it all looks like. But you can see that all 3 of these jerseys are different. Commanders on the burgundy jersey, Washington is on the front of the white jersey, and then on the black alternate jersey, there's a patch right here on the shoulder, on the left shoulder of Jonathan Allen, that says Commanders. So, I mean, I like the uniforms. They weren't lying when they said the uniforms were dope. So, let's see. Let's get to some more of your comments. Shark Claw 61, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Washington changed their Instagram to Commanders. We already knew the name was Commanders. Like I said, it was the worst kept secret in sports. I've already railed on them about that. They did not do a good job with this rollout, but I mean, it was going to be tough for them to keep it under wraps, but they could have done a much better job of doing that. So, let's see. F. Altus, thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. F. Altus, who writes, Lou, what has Jason Wright done well since he arrived? Botched memorial, botched rebrand, stadium wreck. Each month proves he is more inept than last. I don't put the botched memorial right on the lap of Jason Wright. He was a part of that process that botched that. But the powers that be, the guys that have been here, knew how important Sean Taylor was to us. If Daniel Snyder had any ounce of if he had any brain, all right, if his brain functioned at a high level, then he would know that this was important to us. Look, there are many things Daniel Snyder can do to get this fan base on his side. That was one of the few things he could have gotten, that he could have rallied the troops, made people show up, and made this a big deal, and he botched it. Jason Wright just got here. I wasn't expecting him to know what the magnitude of that situation was going to be. So I kind of absolved him of any wrongdoing, because he just got here. You know, the guys that had been here should have known better. Period. The rebrand, like that's on Jason Wright. This wasn't a good rollout. It wasn't. Let's call it a spade a spade. It wasn't a good rollout. But again, it's not just Jason Wright. Like, he didn't send the video. I'm pretty sure they've got like a tech team, you know, people that are responsible for the video and making sure that things are blurred out. And I don't want to absolve him in wrongdoing. That whole process of the rollout was botched. The stadium is a wreck, but he's not responsible for that. At the end of the day, Jason Wright isn't responsible for anything on the field. He's responsible for the business side. And I mean, on the business side of things, I don't really know what the numbers say. at the end of the day, winning changes all that. And Jason Wright's already acknowledged, look, his job becomes infinitely easier if we win and infinitely harder if we lose. What he essentially said is that his job is to make Washington lose proof, meaning if they lose, it doesn't matter. The brand still remains the brand and it's still going strong. Hard to do that when we've been losing for 30 years, though. Nobody wants to hear that. So, but that's his job. Vincent Cole, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Vincent Cole writes, good morning, Lou. Good morning, Vince. So what's going on? Johnny 68740, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I like the black. He said, I like the helmets, but the black helmet. I like the burgundy helmets better than the black helmets so far. I want to see what the rest of that helmet looks like. So if I'm looking at it correctly, I think the black helmets look like the Washington football team helmets. So if I'm looking at it correctly, if you look on the side of Jonathan Allen's helmet, you'll see that there's a number there. So I'm thinking the black helmets look like the Washington football team helmets. So that's their ode to the football team, where you get the W in the front, you get the numbers on the side, and that'll be that. I don't have a problem with the black helmets if the numbers are on the side, and it looks like I see 93 on the side of that helmet. So I got no problems with that. No problems at all whatsoever. Twin D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Twin D writes, first of all, smash the like button. You guys heard the man. Hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Second, I'm good with the name. We are the Commanders. There's no change in that. Let's get behind it. I don't have a problem with it either. I already said the name itself wasn't the issue. My issue all along was the fact that they didn't do a good job of keeping it under wraps. That was the only issue. And again, it was going to be tough in the climate that we live in, but still, they could have done a better job. There's no mistake in that. I'm with, like I said, I don't care what the name is going to be as long as they didn't embarrass us. They're not going to embarrass us with the new name. I wanted to see what the uniforms and the helmet and the logo and all of that stuff look like. And I'm impressed. I'm not going to lie. I'm impressed with the uniforms. They said those guys, Jonathan Allen, Chase Young, Terry McLaurin, all said that the uniforms were dope and that we were going to really be impressed. And I'm impressed. I like the uniforms. I'm not going to lie to you. I think they're dope. I want to see the full uniform, and we'll see that. And by the time I speak to you the next time, we'll have visuals of the entire uniform, top and bottoms, all views. We'll have the helmet from all views, side, back, front, all of that. So we'll have a better feel for the entire uniform. Like what the pants, like do the pants have the W with the 3 stars on it or whatever? Like we'll be able to see all of that stuff, and get a full feel for what the color combinations will look like, what the burgundy tops with the white bottoms look like, what the burgundy tops with the black bottoms look like, what the burgundy with the black tops with the burgundy pants may look like. I mean, these are the things they can do. They can play with these combinations, although they may not all jive well together. These are the things that I think we'll be able to see. So I'm behind it as well. It is what it is. HTTR Moko Land, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, yo, they're not going to have a player wearing the uniform. Shaking my head. Hey, we the Commanders. F it. We lit. Yeah. I like I said, I like the uniform. So, yeah, I'm feeling it right now. I think that they've done a really good job with that. I got to give them credit on that. I wasn't a huge fan of the rollout, but the end result is all I care about, and I like it. I like the uniform. So far, so good. Andrew Webster, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Andrew writes, now I'm picturing Dallas in their all whites versus Washington in their all blacks. That'll look pretty sweet. Well, Dallas doesn't have all whites. You know, they got their white uniform with the like really faint bluish, grayish pants. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm being literal. That uniform against our black on blacks, which I don't know if the only way you'll get that combination. Well, no, you can get Washington wearing that on the road because Dallas will wear that at home. And if we decide to wear black on black at home, Dallas will wear their whites. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. The black on black is going to be dope. The burgundy on burgundy will look sweet. The white on white will look sweet. I mean, right now, the color combinations that they put together are pretty dope. I will say that. The name is what it is, but the uniforms look sweet. Luck, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, wow, such a big surprise. I'm glad they didn't leak it. you know, that was so funny. On the Today Show when he, says the tightly kept secret. Yeah, right. You got to be kidding me. All right, have some awareness about the situation. Okay. He says, shit show. I'm going back to sleep. Peace. Luck. I hear you, bro. Commander, it is. Let's see. Marks, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Marks writes, hey, Lou, I was born a Redskins fan, but I've had it with this Snyder regime. I'm still trying to digest the Sean T tribute mishap. I'll continue to support and watch, though. Much love. Hashtag HTTR. That was rough. The Sean T thing was rough because I told you I have no business being at FedEx. None whatsoever. Had they given us enough time, I think that might have been a game that I might have attended, just because of what he meant to this fan base and the legacy that he left. I wanted to be a part of that ceremony, and they didn't even give a lot of us an opportunity to do that. So that was really frustrating. But look, I've come to grips with the fact that the team that I root for is incompetent in so many different avenues. And at this point, I don't root for them to get things right from up above, which is hard to root for the product on the field because generally mistakes made from up top are going to affect the product on the field. But in my naive way of thinking, I'm just hoping somehow, some way, and the only way you're going to do that is if you get a Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes type of quarterback, Deshaun Watson guy, where he can transcend your franchise. And despite the mishaps and the shortcomings of your front office, they can overcome those obstacles because they're that good. That's what we have to hope for, is that at some point we find that guy doesn't exist in this year's draft or in free agency. Okay. So for me, I'm hoping that somehow they manage to stumble into next year's draft, because at least there'll be two quarterbacks that'll be really interesting in CJ Stroud and Bryce Young from Alabama. Like those two quarterbacks at bare minimum are going to be guys that we really think have a chance to be really good. And then you can go from there. But for me, I truly am hoping that they just find a way to get us through this season at the quarterback position and then try there. And I don't see Ron doing that. He's going to try his hardest, his damnedest. They're going to draft a guy this year. I don't think that guy's going to be any good, whoever they draft, honestly speaking. I can't say that with 100% certainty. I don't know, right? I can only hope. If once they draft somebody, he's a part of the family, and I'm going to root like hell for him. But I'm not hopeful right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not looking forward to them drafting anybody in this year's draft class. I'm just not, outside of Kenny Pickett, and even my expectations for him are somewhat tame. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I digress. Thank you for the super chat, Marks. Luck, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Mark. Luck, who writes, burgundy and gold days are gone, fellas. That's a total new shade of red on them jerseys. Let's talk about that. So remember, one of the things that I talked about was the burgundy and the shade of it and what color the burgundy was going to be. I think they are going away from the standard burgundy. It's going to be some form of burgundy, but I mean, colors are so they're so objective, right? Like you see, mauve, I see lilac, or what I'm saying, like I remember when we would get coloring boxes and you'd get a 64 count or one of those huge boxes. There'd be so many different shades of one color and they'd have different names, right? So I mean, we get into this argument about what's burgundy, what's brick red, what's maroon. Like we could really have that discussion, but at the end of the day, it's still burgundy and gold. And you want to get technical, sure. It's not the same burgundy that we grew up with as Redskins fans, but things evolve. We're no longer the Redskins. So the name has changed. The jersey colors slightly have changed. Obviously now black is a part of the color scheme that was never a part of Redskin color scheme. So it's different. You can't want change and then get it. And then look, we didn't want this. Let me clarify this. We didn't want this. We wanted to be the Redskins. We didn't ask to become the Washington football team and now the Commanders. But if you're going to change, if you're going to try to become, more with the times, this is their attempt at doing that. And I think they did a pretty good job. I know some of you don't like it. I mean, I can't tell you what to like or what to not like. I like it. I don't have a problem with it. I like the uniforms. I need to see the whole thing. I want to see the whole thing though. Let me see if Bleacher Report, I think their site was crashing. So we got the little logos here. And so I'm looking at the uniforms. Everybody's making fun of them online already. And I see Terry's pants. Again, these aren't good shots of it because, you're not getting the full spectrum of everything. But I see a guy with so Doug Williams is sporting a new Commanders jacket already. So I got logos, alternate logos for y'all. Y'all can see them. So I got some more shots of the jersey. Okay. I'm going to pull these up for y'all so y'all can take a look at it. And then y'all can tell me what y'all think. So I'll pull these pictures down for y'all and give y'all a snapshot of what they look like. Matter of fact, I think I can just share my screen, really. I don't have to do all of this. So I'll just screen share. Give me 1 second. And I'll just pull it up on my monitor. Let's see. Let me pull it up here on my screen in front of me. And we will get it on and popping. All right, so let's see. Is it more than one? Condo P just sent me something. Yeah, so I'm able to look at the pants now because they got it out here at the stadium. Nikki Javala took a picture and she posted it. So yeah, the helmets do have the numbers. I'm gonna pull this picture off and send it. I won't screen share. I'll just pull this picture off because you'll get the full look at the uniforms. I'll just pull it off of Twitter real quick. All right. So here are the unis, and I'll pull this down so you guys can see it. And then I will put it up here. All right. Now, let's put it up here. So these are the uniforms. So I told you that Chase Young's shoulder looked a little different. I don't know if I'm feeling that or not. That shoulder, if you can see the little shoulder here. I don't know if I'm feeling that little patch on the shoulder on the white uniforms. The burgundy's fine. The pants, they don't really move the needle. I thought they were gonna have like a stripe down the side with some stars or something. They didn't do anything with the pants out of the ordinary. The pants look generic. They could have done something on the pants. I thought that would have been dope had they had like a couple of lines, like the little DC flag on the side, like how they have the patch, the DC flag on the side of the black uniforms. They could have did that on the pants. You know, 2 stripes in the stars. They don't have anything on these pants. No stripe, no nothing. They could have done that. I think that was a little generic there, but I mean, yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with everything as is. You know, I'm cool with the burgundy on burgundy. I'm cool with the white on white, and they'll look. You know, putting them on these mannequins doesn't do it any justice because these mannequins don't fill the jersey out. It looks weird sometimes. But I think these are pretty cool, man. I think these are pretty cool. So I'll get back to the comment section. But as Luck said, the days of the burgundy jerseys, this is a totally new shade of red. It is a different shade of red. We'd be fooling ourselves to think that they keep it the exact same color. Raw Rebel, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Raw Rebel, who writes, I wonder if they still have yellow pants. Obviously, they don't have that here in the setup. That doesn't mean that down the line they can't come with some yellow pants. I don't see them doing that, though. And honestly, if we keeping it a buck, it wouldn't fit with this color scheme, wearing yellow pants. You can't wear it with the black, then you look like the Steelers. You can't wear it with the white because you don't even have that much yellow in that uniform. It would look weird. And you could wear it with the burgundy, but I mean, you don't need to. So I think you'll only see yellow pants if they try to go with a throwback. And honestly, how could you go do a throwback uniform if you don't have the Redskins imagery? You know, I can't see them going to a throwback. Jizzle, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Jizzle writes, low-key already feeling the urge to cop the merch, laughing my ass off. Like I said, they did a good job, man. They did a pretty good job with the jerseys and the helmets. I got no problems with any of the helmets. The black ones, they're all right. You know, they kept the numbers on the side on the black ones, and they wanted to make the alternate uniform, which the black uniform is, an alternate. We'll mainly be wearing the whites and the burgundies. And they'll switch up burgundy pants, white pants with those two. And I don't think we'll see the black be worn with anything else. Like, I don't think they're going to take the black top and wear burgundy bottoms, or the black top and white bottoms, or the black bottoms and the burgundy top, or the black bottoms and the white top. I don't think they're going to switch it up that way. I think the black stays black on black. But the only complaint I have of the uniform right now, as is the pants. They could have done more. The pants are unimaginative. They didn't put a lot of thought into the pants. They literally just said, okay, let's just worry about the top half of the jersey, the helmets, and then just put on some generic pants. You know, whatever color the uniform is, just put the pants on and have them be the same color. Throw a Nike check on them, a shield on them, and keep it pushing. Thought they could have done something on the pants. I don't see anything unique on the pants, and maybe that's subject to change. I would hope so, but the pants look really pedestrian. C. Dumphy 457. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. C. Dumphy 457 writes, should have been Federals, then we could call them the Feds. Uniforms are good. Yeah. Now that would have been dope. You know, the Feds are coming. You know what I'm saying? That would have been dope. I will not lie. Just from a nickname standpoint, the Feds would have been dope, but I don't think we wanted to be called the Washington Federals either. But the Feds would have been a dope nickname, that's for sure. J Mart, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Red Wolves was my choice, but the unis look good. Like I said, I don't love Commanders as a name, but I got to admit they did a really good job with the uniforms. I do actually think they look pretty clean. I don't necessarily, and maybe the white uniform, the patch on the shoulder may grow on me, but right now I don't necessarily love that. Kind of feel like it's just out of place, like they just wanted to do something different there for the sake of doing something different, and it kind of looks weird. But I think they did a pretty good job on the jerseys, man, and the helmets, especially the burgundy, which will be our standard base helmet that we'll wear, 75% of the time. They look good. The W looks good on it. The stripe down the middle is a good touch. I think they did a pretty good job with the helmets as well. So I got no complaints with that. I even like the fact that each jersey has a different name on it. So the red one has Commanders, the Commanders word art on it. The white one has Washington on the front, and then the black alternate has Commanders on the left patch, so on the shoulder. So yeah, I actually even like that little detail that they had a different way to put the name on the jersey for each color. CJ Shoots Photo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, they botched it. They should have chosen a better platform to present it. The name is so lame and they can't get it right. Don't buy the merch. I think the whole Today Show thing was Jason Wright's idea. Remember, when he first got the job, where did he show up first? The Today Show. So I think he likes that format. I think he likes the Today Show. I personally would have done it a different way too. I don't think the Today Show was a great, like, that was so 1995-ish, so 1980s. Like, people don't go to television for their information anymore. They could have done something online, or they could have done something cool where they did it themselves. They didn't need to involve NBC or a network, a major network. They could have literally had this on their team website, or they could have had this on social media, on their Facebook page or something, where they're shooting it live from the stadium. They had this whole big rollout and they drop a banner down, or they almost have it like a fashion shoot where they got a stage and they got people modeling the uniforms, and they would have effed that up too. We wouldn't have been able to hear, because when we listen to press conferences, we either can't hear the questions being asked, or we can't hear the responses, or it's too loud, or it's distorted. They would have effed that up too. So going the national syndicate route was probably the right thing to do, because at least we'd be able to hear it and we'd be able to see it. There would be no botchery there, because they would have effed it up had they done it themselves. We know this to be a fact. So I I would have chosen a different platform as well, but I get why they did it the way they did it, because they would have messed it up. Freddie Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Freddie Lee writes, like the uniforms, especially the black one, but that big ass W on the front of the helmet got to go. Now let's get our franchise QB, Wilson or a rookie. The only thing that's really left to do now, well, the only two things really left to do now is to find a franchise quarterback and to get a brand new stadium. Those are the two things left on the major items checklist. We've got the rebrand now. We've got a new name. We got new uniforms, got a new logo. Now we need a new quarterback and we need a new stadium. Stadium is not coming until 2027 at the earliest. So I'm not going to continue to harp on that because we're still 5 years, away from that. But the quarterback could be here this year, as early as this year. No worse than next year. No worse than next offseason. Do we need to figure out the quarterback position? But I'm not going to lie to you. The W on the front of the black helmet, that's a cause for concern for most of you. I don't love it, but I don't hate it enough to make a big stink about it. They could have, that would have been better if they would have put Commanders across the front or something like that. You know what I'm saying? They just throw the little W out there. Maybe Commanders would have been too big on the front there. But I think that would have been the opportunity for them to slap Commanders on the helmet there. Or just left it blank and put the numbers on the side. I think they wanted to make sure you knew that we were the Washington Commanders by putting some type of logo in the front. I just don't love the W being there. But again, I don't hate it enough to make a big deal about it. So thank you for the super chat. Freddie Lee. Barrett Downing, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. BD, greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB writes. Callie rocking with you early, Lou. There are a couple of y'all coming from the left coast, some across the pond that is dumb early. I really appreciate y'all kicking it with the kid. He said, unis look cool. I just have to let it sink in. But if we compete, it won't matter. Yeah, I mean, I like the jerseys again. That was half of the battle was getting uniforms, bless you, that really got you excited. They did that. The name, not so much. But again, the nickname was going to be whatever it was going to be. I already told you I wasn't really worried about the name. I was more concerned about what we look like because people are going to make fun of the name regardless of what it was. But can we look dope? If we're not going to win, can we at least look dope on the field while we're getting our asses kicked? And if we start to win, all of this stuff will take off. People will be behind it. And I've already talked about that. Winning is the key to all of this. You win, and it makes all of this stuff palatable. People that can't stand this name will tolerate it if we win. If we lose, people will pile on. People will a lot of people will leave. And it is what it is. I'm never coming back to this team. I can't stand the name. Go to the NFC Championship game. Get Russell Wilson, go to the NFC Championship game. Get a young quarterback. He comes in, lights it up. Find yourself in the divisional round in 2 years from now. And those same people that said they're out and they're not coming back will be right on board. Screaming, take command. Hashtag take command. Derek B, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Derek B writes, thumbs up on the unis and W's on the helmets. Still the dubs to me. I like it. I think they did a really good job with the helmets. I think they did a pretty good job with the uniforms. Only, like I said, the only gripe I have, and it's not one that I'm, again, willing to make a big stink about, is the pants. They didn't do enough on the pants. Got a brand new member, Ian Harding. Thank you for becoming a member of the MOBB. Stand up, Ian. Mob, you know what to do. Open your arms nice and wide, like you're stretching on this early February 2nd morning, and give Ian some love and welcome him to the squad. Ian, welcome aboard the MOBB. You won't be sorry. And thank you for your membership. And just to mention, since Ian just joined, if you are new or you are thinking about joining the MOBB, now's the time. Today I'm going to release the Malik Willis Draft Prospects 101 video to the members of the mob and Patreon. They'll have the sneak peek, and then that video will be released to the masses tomorrow. And then you'll get my first positional breakdown of the quarterbacks, and that will be exclusive to the mob and Patreon only. That will probably come at you either next week or the week after, and then we'll transition to the next position, and then so forth and so forth. So anyway, thank you for the super chat, Derek B. Thank you for becoming a member, Ian Harding. And Robert Mitchell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, NFL.com has the Commanders burgundy jerseys for $129.99 already. I just got Gibson. Awesome. We knew it wasn't going to take that long for them to get all that stuff up there. They had everything synced up and coordinated with the league. So I'm not gonna lie, the jerseys are dope. I want to see what the hats look like. I imagine that the fitted hat is nothing but the W on the front. They may have an alternate with Commanders on the front. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna cop it. The W looks dope. And it'll probably be plain Jane. I've got some rebranding to do myself, because now I have to come up with new imagery, new branding for the shows that I'll do. And so I've got work to do myself, but at the end of the day, I think they did a pretty good job, all things considered. Captain Flarbnarg, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Captain Flarbnarg writes, the only thing we've commanded was losing the past 30 years, shaking my head. Facts, big facts. But as Ron said, we're looking towards the future. We're hoping that you can give us a chance to create a new future and not so much worry about the past. Good luck with that, Ron. Again, the only way you're going to get that to happen is to win, and win big, and win now. Okay? You want us to stop talking about the past? Win, and win big. I don't see that happening, but we'll see. Luck, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Luck writes, already ordered 93, 90, and 99, 93, 90, 99, and 17 jerseys. Now just got to wait for the colors to drop. Even though I was talking shit like 10 minutes ago, I'm okay now. I love it. So Luck is like, yeah, I was talking some cold hard cash just a minute ago, but I seen the jerseys and I love them. Now, I like it. I like it a lot. He's already got his full spectrum of studs on the squad, ready to lined up, ready to cop, and just looking to see what colors he wants to get them in now. So that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Thank you for the super chat, Luck. Joe Rockhead J, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, the Manders look good. I'm looking forward to seeing a more 3D view. Let's just win, please. So I think the Manders, as you just said, I don't think I'll be calling them the Durs or the Manders. I probably just call them the Washington Commanders. Again, there's no way to make Commanders cool, okay? Like, we're gonna try. Obviously, Manders, that's another variation, right? There's no way to make Commanders cool. You just have to call them, like, some people have names. Your first name, it's just no way to make that cool in nickname form. You just have to call that person by their first name. There's no way to make their name a nickname and make it cool and make it make sense. Okay. Like, if your name is Alabaster, only thing you can call him is A. And A is a whack nickname, right? You can't. A, it's just too bland. It's too generic. Anybody could be A. You could be just saying A to somebody. So you can't clean up Alabaster. If your first name's Alabaster, and no disrespect to anybody out there with the first name Alabaster, but Baster is not a great nickname. Ala is not a nickname. Like, you can't clean up Alabaster. Your first name's Alabaster. You're Alabaster. We're the Commanders. There's no way to make Commanders cool. We're the Commanders. We're not the Manders or the Durs. We're the Commanders. Okay, you can't clean this up. Can't change it. And you don't want to be the commies. That's what we're going to be called. But there's no way to clean this up. We're the Commanders. Thank you for the super chat. Redskins Review. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Redskins Review, writes, so dysfunctional, they leaked the logo on the window of the teaser video and no one noticed but the fans. Shaking my head. Again, they were so sloppy with the handles. We saw that W on the window. People were pointing these. Again, we're detectives and internet sleuths. If you put something up there trying to be, like, they were trying to be so inclusive, making the brand videos, it actually backfired because they put out all this misinformation with it. They put out all of these different, things where they thought they were blanking stuff out. We can still see shit. And then you send the little clip to the Richmond local news station and you forget to blank it out. Like, they botched this thing 6 ways to Sunday, right? But again, at the end of the day, it's about the outcome. And the end result, the end product is something that I think we can be somewhat proud of. I don't love the way they rolled it out. I don't really, love the name, but again, it is what it is. I told you guys I didn't care, and I don't. The bottom line is we need to win. And that's been my stance. It's going to continue to be my stance because at the end of the day, that's all I ever really cared about. Redskins, Washington football team, Commanders, it's always been the same to me. I just want to win. That is it. That is all. So a lot of y'all are not feeling some of y'all, not all of y'all, because some of y'all are feeling it. And this, we knew it was going to be this way. You're not going to please everyone. I got a lot of people in here saying these unis are trash. He's like, yo, come on, bro. The unis aren't even all that nice. DC Booker, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Lou, Commander's YouTube page now has a hype video with players wearing their jerseys if you want to check it out. I'll definitely do that. And that will kind of give me a better sense of what they look like all the way around. But we'll see. Thank you for that, DC Booker. I will definitely check that out. Rob the Goat, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rob the Goat writes, what's up, Commander Lou? Hey, remember, you can't take command, all right? There's a hype video that showcases the jerseys. I'm cool with it as long as we win. Hashtag get a QB, LOL. So that's what my guy DC Booker was just mentioning. I'll definitely take a look at that and look at that video. But that's, again, I've stated this before. I'll state it again, and I'll continue to bang this drum because I believe it to be true. And Joe Theismann said it. Everybody knows this. I'm not, uncovering some type of revelation. I'm not telling you something that you don't already know. All of this is made okay by winning. You will tolerate it. If you could hate everything about this new rebrand and this new reboot. You can hate the jerseys. You can hate the name. You can hate the new logo. You can hate everything that is associated with Commanders and its football team. You can hate it to your core. You never wanted Redskins to change. You couldn't stand Washington football team. You hate this even more. Can't stand Commanders. Can't stand the look. Hate the fact that we have black uniforms now. You wanted it to stay the same. If they win football games, you will tolerate all of it. Maybe even learn to like it if they win. If is a big word. I've already said if is the biggest 2-letter word in the English language. If. But if they do, it would change a lot. So, let's see. Dime 10 has an actual ranking scheme, and he's giving them ranking numbers. I like that. I like that a lot. let's see. The Talk Heavy podcast. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. The Talk Heavy podcast writes, just saw the new Commanders commercial. Uniforms are fire. I told you I like the unis. I think they did a really good job on these. Think they really did a good job on these uniforms. And at the end of the day, all you could ask for was for them to take their time with some part of this process, because obviously they didn't take their time with the rollout. So I think they spent the bulk of their time on the things that matter. The rollout wasn't as important as the final product, the end result. And the end result was the uniforms, the logo, and how everything kind of meshed and gelled together. And I think they, for the most part, did a good job. Ogun, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ogun writes, Mama called them Washington, then I'm going to call them Washington. I like the look. Now go get us a QB. And see, that's the same theme that's being said over and over again. This is cool. And that's what I've been saying for months. All of this, which is why I told you I didn't care what the name was going to be, because all of this is cool. But at the end of the day, all this shit is ancillary, because the product on the field is what we care about the most. And so everyone's going to say the same thing. Hey, this is cool. Now go get us a quarterback and let's win some football games. Because at the end of the day, it all comes back to the same thing, winning. And the best way and the fastest way to win is to get a quarterback. So by nature, everybody's like, hey, go get a quarterback. Because you're watching these playoffs and you're watching what Joe Burrow's doing, and you watch Josh Allen and you watch Patrick Mahomes over the years, and you say, these are the guys that are winning, so let's go get somebody that looks like that. Except it's not that easy. Mama named him Washington. I'm going to call him Washington. CGM 87. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. CGM 87 writes, total botch, stole the AAF hashtag and origami W. Sad. I didn't see this, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if they got this from somewhere else and thought it was pretty cool and just bit it. Because that's what people do. If it's not broken, don't fix it. You know, so I wouldn't be shocked if they stole this from somewhere and just, you know, touched it up here or there, try to put a little twist on it so they can say, see, this one is ours. Like, it's almost like McDowell's and McDonald's. Like, hey, they got the golden arches. We got the golden arcs. Okay. They got the Big Mac. We got the Big Mick. Hey, it's not the same. All right. So it could be, you know, sleight of hand, you know, tomato. I mean, that's kind of probably how they were going about it. Thank you for the super chat. Mr. Ron B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Mr. Ron B writes, you can glean but so much from the picture, but yeah, the uniforms look pretty cool. Now let's get on that with what's important. Win. Yeah, let's get on with it. Yeah, and let's get on with what's important. And that's winning. And again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but that's the most important thing. Like, those who got so hung up on the name that it made them sick. I kept telling you the same thing. Hey, that's cool. I actually had somebody tell me, you can't not care what the name is going to be. That's just stupid. And I'm like, no, the fact that you don't understand it, I don't really give a shit what the name is stupid. Because at the end of the day, the name isn't going to win us football games. The product on the field is what's going to ultimately win us games and lose us games. We need to improve that. That's what I care about. You ask me if I care about this name more than I care about what they do in free agency or the draft, and I'll tell you, no, give me free agency in the draft, because ultimately that's what's going to determine if we are talking about a 7-10 record again next year, or if we're talking about a 9-8, or we're talking about a 10-7, or we're talking about 11-6. The playoff berth is going to really be determined by health and what we do this offseason. You know, draft, free agency, things of that nature. Re-signing guys, letting guys walk, trading, things of that nature. So it's all about winning. Dylan Hinton, thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Dylan, greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what is this? The Steelers, he says, I live by Pittsburgh. I will never hear the end of this from my friends. I mean, so the Steelers do have a black on black, and it does look kind of similar to that, especially I think the Steelers art, you know, the artwork that they use for their numbers and stuff. I think it's somewhat like that, you know, and the W looks kind of like the Steelers letters, you know. So yeah, I could see how that could become. Look, when you do black on black, this is what you run into. And if your color schemes are similar, this is what you run into. Everyone in the league now pretty much has a black on black combination that they run with. You know, if you haven't been around for 50, 60 years, you know, anybody that's changed their uniforms within the last 20 years has a black on black combination, if that's a part of their color scheme. You know, like the Denver Broncos aren't going to have a black on black. It's not a part of their color scheme. But the Eagles didn't have black on black back in the 90s, right? Because it wasn't a part of their color scheme, but they reconfigured their color scheme to add black in. Now they have a black on black. The Ravens have a black on black. The Saints now have a black on black. They didn't before. It used to be either they wore gold, white, or they wore some, you know, black bottoms or a black top, but they didn't have black on black. Now they do. Like that's the you know, the wave of the future. Everybody's got a black on black if that is a part of your color scheme. Like the Bills don't have black on black. It's not a part of their color scheme. But if they did, they wear black on black. So we have black on black. And because one of our colors is gold, it's going to look somewhat like the Steelers. And then you add in the imagery, you know, with the artwork and things of that nature. Yeah, I could see that. Definitely could see that. Thank you for the super chat, Dylan Hinton. CJ Shoots Photo. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. CJ Shoots Photo, who writes, that white jersey shoulder, what the hell? I'm with you on that. I am not feeling that at all. These uniforms are not dope. Everything about it looks bad, in my opinion. Nothing looks like our history. We were lied to. I didn't think there was a way they could pull it off. Because look, the minute they got rid of the Redskin name, anybody that wanted to stay closely tied to the history, that shit was dead and out the window. You had to know this, okay? The fact that we were starting over, we were literally starting over from zero, ground zero, and starting anew. So anybody that wanted any imagery or anything that tied back to the Redskins, that was dead. They're trying to move away from Redskins, not towards it. So if you were looking for something like that, you know, you were sadly mistaken. You know, they said that we were going to be proud of this as, you know, the DMV. I'm like, why are we proud of the Commanders? Again, help me with that. At the end of the day, the uniforms look fine. I don't love the patch on the white jersey. I'm with you, CJ. I thought they could have left that shit out. Yeah, leave that on the cutting table, right? They were trying to be too different right there with the shoulder on the white jersey. I'm not feeling that. It's almost like that doesn't even belong, and they took it from another jersey. Like I was watching me and my wife watched the first episode of the American Auto show on NBC. It's actually really funny. And they had the guy make a car from different parts of cars that were in the employee parking lot. And the end result was this terrible looking car that looked like it was from Back to the Future in like 1980. It was horrible looking, right? And it were a bunch of parts of the car that just were thrown together and they didn't fit. That's what that shoulder looks like. Like they had all these different sketches and they were like, yo, we know we love that shoulder right there. And then they had this whole jersey and it was like, but what about the shoulder? You love it so much. Find a way to get it in there. And they're like, it doesn't really fit. Just put it in there. Okay. I'll put it in. You asked me to. That shit is hideous. I don't love the shoulder. That and the pants are the only two gripes that I have with the way it looks. Anyway, the Talk Heavy Podcast. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, basically, Theismann did botch the rollout. He was a part of botching it. But again, by the time Theismann said what he said, we already knew what the damn name was. Like that wasn't a revelation. He was pretty much confirming what everybody already knew. And Commanders was the name. They had dropped so many breadcrumbs, and they had done it in such a frivolous way that we refused to believe what we were seeing, because you're like, they can't be this incompetent, right? Like, they can't possibly send a video that they blurred out on their team website. They couldn't have possibly sent it to a Richmond local TV program without it being blurred out. Like, they couldn't have done that, right? They couldn't have done the video online that they blurred out, but had the image sitting there in the window. They couldn't have possibly done that. They couldn't have possibly leaked it here and there and had different trails leading back to them, including the IP address and them getting the website name and linking it to a company that's tied to the NFL. Like, they couldn't have possibly done all these things because it's so incompetent. They couldn't have done. So it must be a trap that they're setting for us. No, that's actually the name. We botched it. Oops. Yeah. So Joe Theismann essentially was like, look, you already know the damn name. Okay. I'm not disclosing anything you don't already know. All right. And Joe even went as far as to give us the reasons why he was told they were naming it Commanders. I mean, Joe said, look, it's Commanders. Here it is. And here's why we're naming it Commanders. All right. So, and Joe, at this point, Joe can do whatever the hell he wants to do. Who's stopping Joe Theismann from doing whatever the hell he wants to do, right? Tizzy Bang, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Tizzy Bang writes, the colors on the jacket everybody is wearing is perfect. Why are the uniform colors different? Maybe you could get the exact colors. Like, you know, what I realize sometimes is, and this is the same exact conversation we had literally 25 minutes ago, is that you can be so literal. Like, what I've learned in doing merch myself is that you go to this company and they can get the exact color of red you're looking for, the exact burgundy that you want. And then you go to this other company and they can't quite pull it off. You know, it's just the shade darker. It's just the shade lighter. And so, you know, sometimes you run into those little minor things that, you know, make all the difference in the world. You know, and the jacket manufacturers, maybe they got the colors exactly the way they wanted the jerseys to look, but they just couldn't make the jerseys with the material that they're using. They couldn't make it in that exact same color. I don't know. You know, those things happen though. I've learned the hard way that works. It works that way sometimes. Let's see. Twin D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Twin D, who writes, LT, I think the one thing that will help get some folks into it a bit more is if the merchandise is a bit more affordable at first. Might really help to get the name and brand out there. One thing Daniel Snyder has never been a fan of is making things affordable. That's the one thing he's never done. He probably will never do, is he'll always try to milk something for all it's worth. I just heard some people say that the jerseys are already up on the NFL.com website for $130. Like, that's not cheap and affordable, you know, for someone looking to just dip their toe in the Washington Commanders game. You would think that they would try to get you to get as much of that merch as possible, but also they're trying to, you know, jump into this thing and take advantage of people being either excited or, you know, that's the only thing you can take advantage of is being excited. If you don't like the new name or the jerseys, you're not going to buy anything, right? You're not going to buy any merch. But if you're excited, you're going to buy merch, you're going to purchase things. And so they're going to take advantage of that. And so they're not going to lower the price. He's not going to say, hey, got a special deal here, 30% off when you use the promo code Commanders. They ain't doing that shit. They're going to sell it for $130. And if you want it, you're going to pay for it. So we'll see what happens. Barry Curtis Jr. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, red jerseys and white pants with a stripe would have been tough, but I'm not mad. Glad they kept it simple with the helmets. Yeah, I didn't think they needed to overdo it with the helmets, and they didn't. You know, I thought they could have done something again. I hate to belabor this point. Honestly, I thought we should have had a stripe all the way down from the jersey all the way down the pants that connected. So when you put the jersey on correctly with the pants, obviously you can get twisted and all that, but I thought there should have been a stripe all the way down, a double stripe all the way down the side of the jersey, all the way down the pants, and the 3 stars, you know, and they could have had it where there was a star on the jersey and the other 2 stars on the pants, or they could have just had the 3 stars on the pants. But I mean, that's just me. I thought worst case scenario, put the stripes down the side with the 3 stars. They didn't do that. So it is what it is. I would have done something like that. Barry Curtis Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Saying go Commanders feels weird, not gonna lie. LOL. Again, there's no way to clean up Commanders, right? you can't shorten it. I mean, again, you can, but you can't shorten it to anything that is, you know, okay by our standards. You're the Commanders. You are what you are. You got to say the whole name. You know, there's no way to shorten it, but it is what it is. We're the Commanders. So let's see what else we got. Captain Flargnarg, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes, they're gonna find people for going commando at games. Let the puns and all the jokes rain down today. And let there be a continuous downpour of puns, jokes, memes. I've already seen memes on Twitter, and I've only went up there to try to find, you know, some photos of you know the jerseys so I could show you guys. And literally, I was up there 2 seconds, and I already ran into some memes and things of that nature. So there's going to be a ton. This is what happens when, you know, there's a major rebrand. Or I remember when the Falcons had new uniforms, there were a ton of jokes about that and how they look like Arena League. I couldn't stand them then. I still don't like them now. So yeah, they're going to be jokes. I hear your jokes. Okay. Anytime the Rams, when they had their new uniforms, one of their, you know, best and biggest names that ever played for their franchise, Eric Dickerson, is like, these uniforms are soft. The new logo is soft. You know, everyone's going to have an opinion. So, yeah, this is no different. Corey Starks, stand up, Corey, and welcome to the MOBB. Glad to have you. You are officially in the building as the newest member of the Mob Squad. You know what to do. Show my guy, Corey, our guy, Corey Starks, some love. Welcome to the squad, Corey. Glad to have you. Quentin Ruiz, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Quentin, writes, you should post the suicide prevention number for. Hey, chill, man. First of all, suicide is a real issue. Okay. And so that's not something to be played with. That's number one. All right. Number two, this shouldn't, if this is something that would drive you, and I know you're being facetious, you're joking, but seriously, all jokes aside, I hope a lot of you aren't taking this to heart to the point where it's affecting your day-to-day. I can tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. When we lose football games, it affects my mental for that day. And depending on how significant the loss and how it came about, it could affect me for multiple days at a time. Okay? I'm not going to lie to you. But that's the actual game on the field. That's the actual product. This is a name and jersey and logo. They could have the most hideous uniforms in the league. If they're winning, we will overlook it. So just keep that in mind, okay? This is only a part of the package. It's an important part, but it's not the most important part. It's just a part of the package. And they're not the worst. Even if you don't like them and you think they're garbage, they're not the worst, okay? It could have been worse. Let's be honest. It could have been worse. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor writes, not even black, looks dark gray with a hint of burgundy. It's probably the picture. I'm pretty sure if you were in person with those jerseys, they'd look dark black, I would assume. Okay. Trust me, they're not going to fudge the black. If nothing else, they'll get the color black correct. But I mean, you could be right. It could be like not the jet black that we're all accustomed to seeing. It could be like a lighter shade of black, which would be dumb. But I wouldn't put anything past this, this organization. Let's be, and Nike's responsible for these uniforms. Now, Washington, they're gonna, go through the different mock-ups that Nike may give them, but Nike's responsible for making these uniforms look the way that they look. So Nike's going to try to be innovative and cutting edge. That's why the shoulder on the white uniform looks the way, because Nike wanted to, interject some of their flavor, and that's bullshit. But anyway, I digress. Let's see. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Trevor Patch writes, don't buy Washington merch because of Dan. Go shop LTN merch. I'm all for it. If you want to support the team. I'm not going to tell you not to. The only time I've ever said don't buy anything Washington related was when we wanted change with Bruce Allen. We want change with Daniel Snyder, but he's not going anywhere. He's not selling the team. So, but we could, evoke change with Bruce Allen. And I said, look, if I were you, I wouldn't go to games. I wouldn't buy anything. I wouldn't give this man 1 red cent until he makes some kind of change. And he did. So I'm all for it. I'm all for you buying some LTN merch. The more the merrier. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat rights. Didn't have enough time to do the pants. Need more than 2 years for pants. Give them some time. They spent so much time on the top half and the helmet. This ran out of time. It's almost like you're in high school and you've got a project to do or you got a paper. I was notorious for this. I would have a paper that was going to be 10 pages or more due, and I would have this knowledge 3 months in advance. I know this paper's due. I know what the topic is. We've been even working on it in class, rough drafts and things of that nature. And I would literally wait till the day before to bang out the 10-page paper. And, that's kind of how, the pants, it feels like you knew about this project, in this paper for 2 years. And somehow you went to the last minute and forgot to do anything to the pants. Let's see. Tony P56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Tony P56, who writes, as much as we like Ron, this was his doing. This is his legacy, regardless of results on the field. I get it, but it's disconnected from the fan base. So, all right, let's rewind here. Let's take a second to reflect on what Tony P just said. He said that this was Ron's doing. No, Ron is a part of this organization. He is a figurehead. He's the guy that when shit doesn't go right, that's who is going to have to take the blame. He will be the new fall guy. So if this organization loses, Dan will step up to the podium when he's hiring the next guy and say, hey, this culture was turned around, but we didn't have the right guy. He wasn't good enough to win us football games. This next guy, though, he's gonna really take us and put us over the top, because the last guy changed the culture, but he wasn't a good coach on the field. And the guy before that had this culture being very toxic. And I didn't know because I wasn't hands-on enough. Right, Dan. We get that. Okay. So Ron's just the fall guy, essentially. Now, he's got all the power to make decisions in the front office and on the field. Make no mistake about it. Ron wasn't the driving force behind Commanders. Okay. He's got power within the organization. He doesn't have that much power. He's not Bill Belichick. Okay. And even Belichick doesn't probably have the power to help with, branding the New England Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Still the owner's job to, have control over what the organization is going to be called and what it's going to look like. I don't think we can put this in Ron's lap. What we can put in Ron's lap is how the Washington Commanders will be viewed at the beginning of their new rebrand. Because if he gets off to a great start, look, people will be keeping tallies of the team's name. So Washington is 7-21 since changing their names to Commanders. Like, that's the shit we're looking to avoid, right? Ron's going to have a say in that. How we start off as the Commanders, what our record is, because we're going to hear that, whether we want to or not. Since they've changed their name to Commanders, Washington is blank and blank. You fill in those blanks. Hopefully, the left side and the first number that they say is much higher than the right side and the second number that they say in that equation. But that remains to be seen. But make no mistake about it. Ron, he had limited input. Literally, what we saw from Jason Wright is how I think Ron was involved in this. Like, they went to Ron at the end and said, hey, what do you think about these three? Pick one of these three. And Ron was like, I like this one the best. Not that they were going to go with the one that Ron said. They just like, hey, what's your opinion? And Ron's like, oh, I like these. Cool. We do too. We're going to roll with that. Like, I think that's the extent of what Ron had to do with this process. I could be wrong, but that's how I view this. The Talk Heavy Podcast, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Talk Heavy Podcast writes, what was the misdirection Jason spoke of? He's starting now. This is the thing that Jason Wright is starting to do. He's starting to become delusional, like how everyone else does when they hit that building. They start to, because I think when Jason first got here, I think he had a fresh perspective because he was coming from the outside in. And if you're coming from the outside in, you know what the perspective is and what people think and feel about this organization because you're on the outside. It's easier to see it. When you're in it and you're living it and you're going through the day-to-day, it's a lot harder to grasp everything that's being said and the way people feel. I think Jason is either being disingenuous when he says misdirection, or he is literally in that Washington bubble, that insulated bubble that Daniel Snyder's been in, that we see upper management in Washington often find themselves in, where they don't get it, where Bruce Allen is saying we're close every year and that there's a damn good culture here and that we're winning off the field. Like, when you get to Washington, it's almost like there's a sense of a lack. There's this lack of awareness, self-awareness, that it's like it goes out the window once you become a member of this organization. And and I was hoping that Jason Wright, and he still may be this guy. I was hoping that because I can tell you this, Brian Lafemina was very self-aware. Okay. And that's part of the reason they fired him. Not part of the reason. That is the exact reason they fired him. He was too self-aware, and they didn't like it. They didn't like the truth. Jason Wright, I was hoping, would be the one guy that would be the voice of reason that would say, hey, no, we can't do that. Are you crazy? You guys don't get it. But when somebody's signing your checks and those checks are hefty, sometimes you acquiesce. Do as in Rome. We'll see. At the end of the day, I have to remind you of this because some of you put too much stock into Jason Wright's role in this organization. Jason Wright is in control of the business side of this organization. It has nothing to do with winning on the field. The business side of this operation has nothing to do with the football side of this operation. Totally separate parts of the building, totally separate entities, okay? They come together as one to form the Washington Commanders, but they're separate entities. One can thrive while the other doesn't, but in order for the business side to thrive, the football side has to thrive, okay? The football side can thrive and the business side could be struggling, but the business side can't thrive in the football struggle because of 30 years of abuse that this organization has given us. So you don't get to have us struggle on the field and still have a product that is alive and well. The only way that the business side succeeds is if the football side succeeds, okay? So I just want you so don't start piling on Jason Wright and be over, too concerned with what he's got going on. Be concerned with what Ron Rivera, Marty Herney, and Martin Mayhew are doing, because that's more impactful on the outcome of wins and losses with this organization, which at the end of the day is what we care about the most. So let me just remind you of that. Justin Hodge, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Justin writes, hey, is it he said, hey, it's your resident Utah Washington team fan. I think it will grow on me. HTTC, the commodes, the DERs, hard to embrace. As I've mentioned already, it's alabaster. You can't clean this up. Your name is Commanders. You're not going to be able to make it sound cool. Like most teams in the league have a name and you have to say their entire name. There's no way to shorten it. But most teams have short names like the Jets or the Giants, even though the Giants are also known as Big Blue or the G-Men. It's the Giants, it's the Jets, it's the Falcons. You could shorten 49ers to Niners, but for the most part, Patriots to Pats, for the most part, most team nicknames are already short in nature, so you don't need to shorten them. For the longer ones, you do shorten it. You don't have to shorten the Chiefs. It's already 5 letters, okay? Or is it 6? CHIEFS. It's 6 letters. It's already short. You don't have to shorten it, all right? But for the longer names like Patriots, they can shorten it to Pats, and it's cool. You know what I'm saying? We're the Commanders. There's no shortening Commanders, okay? We're the Commanders. It is, the Jaguars can be called the Jags. There's no shortening Commanders. We're not the Comms. Again, we don't want to be the Commies, okay? So we're the Commanders. It is what it is. Donovan Gregory, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Donovan writes, what up, Lou? Should we be yelling out Cobra? Nah, you don't need to do that. No, you don't need to do that. It does remind me of that movie, though. Just a smidge. when I hear it. John Perez, my guy JP. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JP writes, late to the party, but the name is growing on me. The uniforms are great. Now let's go get our QB and win some games. Hashtag take command. Does anybody know if they've established on the team Twitter page or on IG, if they've established a hashtag yet that they want to try to get trending? If anybody has that information, let me know. Is it take command? Is it HTTC? What are they doing? I think it should be take command. If I were them, I would go with take command. I wouldn't go HTTC. I think that's dead. That needs to be retired with the R. We'll see. I'd be interested to know what they do there. Eric DeBose, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Eric writes, morning, Lou. Morning, Eric. Says, let's go Washington, D.C. Commanders. We have to get a decent quarterback and launch our new brand with a bang. Need a good first season. Black unis, fire. I think that's what we all want. Again, I'm not going to fool myself into thinking that they're going to find a way to really get the quarterback of the future this year. Again, it could happen in the draft. You know, we could draft a guy in the second round or in the third round or even a guy in the first round, and he could turn out to be really good. And we could be wrong because we've been wrong. I've been wrong many a times before on draft picks, and I'll continue to be wrong because it's an inexact science. I mean, it is what it is. I tend to feel like I have a good handle on some of these things with quarterbacks. Like, you know, it's hit or miss. I wasn't a Justin Herbert fan. I wasn't the biggest fan. We all acknowledged that he was toolsy. He was big, a hose for an arm, great athleticism. You know, he had everything you were looking for. Just, I didn't think he had the moxie. I didn't think he had the leadership skills, you know, to elevate at the next level. Just seemed somewhat passive aggressive. But then I watched him dunk on some 8th graders, and I'm like, nah, he's a savage. I mean, this guy, he's out here in a pickup game dunking on 8th graders and letting them know about it. I'm like, okay, no, I was all wrong about Justin Herbert. And these are the things that you would only know if you talk to a guy. You know, so sometimes you can't see it on the field, but for every one of those that I'm wrong about, I'm right about 5 guys. Like, I knew Sam Darnold was trash, and I said it when he came out at USC. I don't like this guy. Dwayne Haskins, I said he was trash. I didn't want him, but we drafted him. So at that point, he's a part of the family. We got to go with it. You know, we got to root for the kid to be successful, but I wanted no parts of Dwayne Haskins. You know what I'm saying? I was wrong about Drew Lock. I wanted him. I thought he was going to be good, and they did everything they could to provide a situation that was conducive for him, and he just hasn't panned out for whatever reason. So it's hit or miss, but we need a quarterback. And this first season, you could get lucky. We're going to have a much softer schedule, one would think. You know, if we stay relatively healthy and you get solid play out of whoever is at quarterback, who knows? This could be a, inaugural season to remember. We'll see what happens. J Sauer 1990. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I just picked up their black on black hat and their Berg on black hat. Let's get it. I'm gonna have to go check some of those out because you definitely caught me some hats, if nothing else. I'm not a jersey guy, never have been, never will be, but I will definitely cop the hats. You know how I do. I always love a nice lid, so I'll definitely cop 1 or 2 of those hats, maybe 3 of them, depending on how they look. And if they dope, I'll cop them. So we'll see what happens. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Metaphor writes, Dub, Washington, Dub, Watson, fate, not saying, but I see what you're trying to do there. I just don't connect the dots. I wish it were that simple. Can it be that it was all so simple then? I would love to just say, hey, we start with W. Watson starts with W. Hey. But Watson's, he ain't trying to hear that shit. So anyway, I digress. See what else we got. Freddie Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Freddie. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, add the 3 stars on the front of the black helmet. A rookie QB comes in here, gets 9 wins with 28 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 3,000 yards, and everyone will love the name HTTC. And that's exactly what I'm saying, is that they're not going to change the helmet. But even 3 stars on the front would have been better. You know, I agree with you. That putting Commanders on the front, anything would have been better than just the W. I think that was somewhat tacky, but whatever. That is exactly right. You know, get a rookie quarterback, come in here, win 9 games, even if that doesn't qualify for the postseason. If a rookie were to come in here, lead this team to 9-8 with the stats that you just gave of 28 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and 3,000 yards passing, that would be a great step in the right direction towards us finding our franchise quarterback. Remember Robert's numbers from his rookie season: 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 3,200 yards passing. You know, and probably another 700 on the ground. I mean, he was phenomenal in his rookie season, and that was a 10-win season. So if you come out of here, those numbers that you just gave are similar to the ones that Daniel Jones put up in his first season. Daniel Jones was 27 touchdowns. I think he was 14 interceptions, 14 interceptions. And I think he threw for over 3,000 yards that rookie season. And they thought they had gotten it right, you know, after that. And they may still have gotten it right, because Brian Daboll, they're going to find out once and for all if Daniel Jones is any good, because the head coach that they've hired is going to either get the most out of him or be like, okay, yeah, he's garbage. We got to get another guy in here. So we'll see what happens. But you're right. You do that. You find a quarterback that does that, and people will be on board. All right. Tony P56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Tony P writes, I can't get jiggy with this shit. What is this? I can't get jiggy with this shit. Oh, man. You guys are hilarious, man. You guys are funny. Joseph Puhala, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Joseph writes, Lou, be real. We could win the Super Bowl this year, but in 50 years, no one will care. We will still be Commanders. This is a big day, and you know it. So you say that, but if we won the Super Bowl, it'd be a big effing deal. And now 50 years after that Super Bowl, yeah, okay, we'd still be the Commanders. You're absolutely right. However, I'm not, okay, I can only speak for myself. I'm not worried about 50 years from now. Let the new generation in 50 years worry about the Commanders being the name. We're living in the present, here and now, and at the end of the day, I just care about winning. So as we've talked about on this program, we're tired of talking about the Super Bowl from 30 years ago. That was 30 years ago, okay? We're still talking about that Super Bowl. Why? Because we haven't won anything since then. So if we won something, it'd be a pretty big deal, and it'd give us something else to talk about. Now, you're absolutely spot on, 110% correct about the fact that this name we don't think is going to change, right? Now, there could be another owner that comes in here, says this name sucks, and he wants to change it, and it's his team. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do. But as long as Daniel Snyder's the team, more likely than not, this team will remain Commanders. So you're right. This is going to be the name, and that will never change, and people will always know the name of the team. But winning is, to me, the biggest antidote for everything. And if we win 5 Super Bowls in the next 20 years, the name is cool, but that's what people will be talking about is the Super Bowl wins, not the name. You know, whatever side of the fence you're on, you're on. For me, I don't care what people are talking about 50 years from now. I only care about what's happening right now. And I want to win right now. And I told you, I don't really care what the name is because it doesn't affect me. What does affect me, I don't go around all day moping around because we're named the Commanders or we're named the Washington football team. It doesn't affect my day-to-day, okay? What does affect my day-to-day, what does affect my mood is if I spend 3 hours in front of my television set and we find a way to lose a football game that I really wanted to win, that does affect me. I do mope around after that. So the name, while it does resonate because it's something that will be here past, wins and losses in 2022 and 2025 and 2027, they'll still be the Commanders no matter what happens in that individual season. You're right. I care about what happens in the upcoming 2022 season. I care, Godspell Life, what happens in the 2025 season and what happens in that moment. I care what happens on September the 13th of 2023. If we win on that Sunday afternoon, I'm going to be ecstatic. I also will be ecstatic in 2025 if we win on February the 14th, which means we're in the Super Bowl. So I get what you're saying, and your point is valid, but I choose to look at it from the here and now standpoint of this whole situation. And what have you, this is the NFL, I always like to joke and say, it's Janet Jackson League. What have you done for me lately? Do, 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 do. Ooh, yeah. What have you done for me lately? Commanders in 50 years wouldn't have done anything for me if they haven't won. What are you doing for me right now? That's what I want to know. Can you win some ball games and make me happy as a fan? That's what I'm concerned with. This is a big day for those who get wrapped up in the name and the, the jerseys and all that stuff. It's a big day. For me, I wanted to get this day over with so we can focus on what really matters. For some of you, the name matters because it'll be the name for eternity, you would like to think. For me, it's a means to an end. Okay, got it out of the way. Now can we go win some ball games? That's how I've always viewed this. If we're not going to be Redskins, nothing you can name the team will top Redskins. That's what I grew up with. That's what I've known up until you changed it in July of 2020. Okay? That's all I ever knew. So now that you've decided to change that, you can't top it. You can't beat that. So now with the name, as far as I'm concerned, I'm jaded. There's nothing you can do that makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, unless you go back to Redskins, and you're not. So guess what? Whatever you name the team is fine by me. Win football games. That's why this day isn't as big for me as it is for some of you. But if this is a big day for you, fine. I'm not here to rain on your parade or tell you that you're ridiculous for feeling like this is a big day. I'm just telling you how I feel. It's not that big of a day for me. It's a big day because we've got a nickname now moving forward. We've got new uniforms. We know what our identity is. Okay. Now can we go win football games? That's the thing that's the most important to me. Thank you for the super chat, Joseph. Really appreciate you. Eric DeBose, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Eric, who writes, HTTC takes a little getting used to, but I dig it. Again, if I were them, and fans can do whatever the hell they want to do. They could trend HTTC if they want. Washington could try to, because honestly, you don't get to pick. If you're Washington, you can push the narrative and go with, just command or take command, excuse me. You can push the narrative and make that trend. But if fans say to hell with take command, we want HTTC, and they keep using that one, then that's what the team would have to acquiesce and ultimately do, because that's the one that they're using and that's what's trending. So they have a choice. We'll see what they choose. Jason Rogers, Uncle Jay, thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Uncle Jay. My guy Jason writes, in my opinion, the side of the whites don't look that bad when you see the images with Chase wearing it. Those jackets are fire. Maybe it'll look better when we see them on the mannequin. It doesn't do it any justice. But maybe when you see Chase rocking it, maybe it looks dope. And that might be the case. And maybe that was what Nike was thinking. Was it, the mannequins won't do it any justice, but when somebody puts it on, it might look dope. Maybe it may take some getting used to. Just feel like it's somewhat out of place right now, but we'll see what happens. And I saw the jackets that you're referring to. They do look dope. That is for sure. Captain Flarbnarg, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Captain Flarbnarg, writes, can we get a carry out into the new stadium? I need some wings and mumbo sauce. They're absolutely not. They're going to bust you over the head in the stadium for everything you could ask for. They're not letting you bring any food in. They want you to eat there, and Dan's going to charge you for those wings that you're talking about. They're going to charge you $23.99 for those wings, plus tax. I kid. I don't know how much they're going to cost, but it won't be cheap. That's for sure. Tony P56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Tony P56, writes, I wish this was an April Fool's joke. Oh, well, I can tell you this. We're far from April, my friend. We still got a couple more months before we get to April. So not an April Fool's joke. Sorry. Oh, man. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, embrace it. Washington Commanders. Somebody I saw as I was scrolling up, somebody said, you're in the command center. Maybe that's what they'll call the new stadium. You're in the command center. Oh, that would be so terrible. Oh, man. I told you, let the puns and all of the jokes rain down, and let there be an infinite downpour over the next, few months. The only thing that'll make this stop is free agency. Once we get to March and the start of the new league year and players start flying around and money starts flying around, all of this will become ancillary. But right now, this is the biggest story. So you're going to hear this everywhere you turn. Turn on ESPN, you're going to hear this. You turn on Fox Sports, you're going to see this. They're going to be talking about it everywhere. And then all it takes is for one big story to come and flatten this. And then this will take a back seat. We'll still care because it's our team, but everybody else who doesn't root for this team won't give a shit anymore. But for right now, everybody's going to be engulfed in this media storm that this is going to generate. Which is why I think they did it the week that there was no football. NFL's like, hey, we want to give you the spotlight and the platform for you to have all by your lonesome. Do it on the week where there's no game. Pro Bowl doesn't count. Have at it. So they did that, and now they're going to have all of this until the Super Bowl happens, and that's when this will probably get wiped from the memory bank. I wonder if – I don't think that Tom Brady's decision the NFL had anything to do with his decision, but I'm pretty sure it was like, hey, Tom, if you're going to retire, it would be nice if you did it before Washington, because Tom Brady officially retired. Like, if Adam Schefter doesn't leak that, and let's say Tom Brady retired tomorrow, this would take our new name and uniform, and it would flush it, and Brady would immediately become the number one story. But because that's already been out there for a while now, this is center stage until I think we get to the Super Bowl. So anyway, I digress. Barry Curtis Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Barry Curtis writes, Commanders is not that bad. It's just new. There's literally a team called the Browns. If we become dominant, the name will be tough. I don't have a problem with the name, as I mentioned. It doesn't move me one way or the other. I just want to win. You're right. There is a team called the Browns. Okay. Like all the names in the league, we can sit here and you're right. It's just new. But all the team names aren't dope, you know, in the league. Like Browns is one of those names you're like, yikes, that could go really bad in so many different ways. And it has over the years for the Cleveland Browns, right? Like, I'm thinking about other teams. Most teams are just named after, you know, animals. So, I mean, you know, Lions, Jaguars, you know, Bills, you know, most of these names, Falcons, Eagles, Rams, Cardinals, like they're mostly after animals. It's when you veer away from that, that's when things get a little weird, you know? So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You might be right. You win, and that's what I've been saying. You win and it changes everything, you know, even the way that it's perceived. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. My guy JP writes, uniforms are real nice. 28th birthday surprise for me. Now let's go win. Happy born day, my friend JP. Happy born day. Hashtag take command. So I'm seeing a lot of take command. I'll see if that's the hashtag they're running with. If I were them, if I were a part of their social media team, that's what I would do. You know, I would go with take command. That to me makes the most sense if you're really trying to turn the page. DCJ, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy DCJ writes, what's good, Lou? Is it me or do the jerseys and name change give a Madden franchise move the team look on the name and jerseys? Yeah, it does. I kind of see that. Yeah. And this kind of gives me those vibes back in the day. Or Oregon Ducks look. But overall, like us all, let's win and get a QB. Dumb hype. Yeah. I think anytime you do something and it looks new and it looks different, it's going to give you those kinds of vibes. And yeah, it does. Some of the, especially the white one, does give me some Oregon Duck type vibes. But remember, Oregon is where Nike was first founded. And that's why Oregon has like 800 different uniforms and combinations, because that's their, you know, home base. So, yeah, it kind of does give me a little bit of Oregon Duck vibes, if you will. But, you know, that's nor here nor there. Winning is the key, as you mentioned at the end of your super chat. Farrah Cody, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Farrah Cody writes, RIP Washington Redskins HTTR. Yeah, the RIP Washington Redskins, that happened back in 2020. You know, when they became Washington football team, that's when we laid Washington Redskins to rest, and we knew it wasn't ever coming back. So they're trying to move as far away from that as possible. You know, they don't want to remove the history of the, you know, Super Bowls and things of that nature, but the imagery and the likeness and all of that stuff, they're trying to remove that and move far away from that. So hail to the Redskins. But today is about the Washington Commanders. Take command. Hashtag take command. Condoleezza Perry, my girl Condo P. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Right. Lou, the mayor of DC says Washington should return to DC. Let's go. So that sounds good. And everybody's excited on today. And, you know, people say things in the moment that they don't really mean. You can say that you want the team to return to DC, but what are the actionable steps that are being taken to make this happen? Till that happens, anybody can say whatever they want to say. Sounds great. And the mayor was really one of the people spearheading the name change. And she said, look, as long as they're the Redskins, they can't come back to DC. We changed the name. So now she's on board. That's fine. That sounds great. But again, what are you doing to help that become a reality? I don't see it becoming a reality. It's much bigger than just the mayor getting the team back into the city where it belongs. And so I would love it, Condo P. Everyone would. That's where it belongs. That's where it should be. They should literally tear down the old RFK site and build the stadium there. But they're not going to do that. And the city, as last time I checked, the city isn't paying for it, which is why Daniel Snyder won't build in DC, because he's not going to get the funding, the capital, and he's not getting the space, frankly, to do it. He's not getting any help from the city, which is what he's looking for. He don't want to foot this bill. He's not one of these, Stan Kroenke owners where he's got money oozing and dripping out of every nook and cranny. Daniel Snyder's not. He doesn't have it like that. And, I say that, and the man's a billionaire because he owns an NFL franchise. But there are dudes like Stan Kroenke that own NFL franchises, and if you took away his franchise, he'd still be a billionaire. If you take away the NFL franchise from Daniel Snyder, he is not a billionaire. Stan Kroenke literally built that Rams stadium with his own money. Daniel Snyder cannot do that, which is why I think if they build another stadium, it's going to be right there in that same Landover parking lot, right next to the current stadium, because they own that plot of land. They don't have to pay for any land. They just got to build the stadium. That's what I think, personally. But would I love the team to come back to the city where they belong? You're damn right. We all would. I don't see it happening, Condo P. I hope I'm wrong, because everybody's excited on today. It's a new day. It's a new name. It's a brand new change. Let's bring them back to DC. That sounds good today because everybody's excited today. I want to see actionable steps taken. Then I'll get excited about that. Twin D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Twin D, writes, LT, when you said the Giants can be shortened to G-Men, it immediately made me think, please don't shorten ours to C-Men. Pause. I don't think they're going to do that, but I heard your jokes. I saw what you just did there, okay? That's a double pause. Boop, boop. They hit pause button again. They're not going to they're not going to do that. It might be the C-Man, but it won't. Oh, man. I told you guys are some idiots, man. You guys are some fools, man. I swear. Oh, man. Santiago Tradell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Santiago writes, we are soldiers. We all rank no less than commanders. Embrace it. Face it. With winning, we lace it. Ready for war and chase them. New theme song. Okay. We soldiers, you need some kind of No Limit 1990s hard beat to go with that. You know what I'm saying? Something down south from New Orleans to really make that hit hard. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, again, I digress. People will embrace it if we win. That's essentially what we've all been saying. Will Williams, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Will Williams, writes, if the Giants are also known as the G-Men, are we going to be known as the Commanders and the Seamen? No. Just as Twin D just so eloquently put it, pause. There will be no semen talk around here. Okay. So you don't have to worry about that. But that might be one of the jokes. We'll see. You know, as I mentioned before, they will rain down. Santiago Tradell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, our nickname can be Commandos. And I mean, look, I always make fun of the young boys out there, the young kids, the young youth of America, because their asses can't spell shit. You know why they can't spell shit? Because they're always abbreviating or shortening shit that doesn't need to be shortened. Like, you know, it took me a long time to figure out what the ops was. I thought there was this whole dramatic, you know, what ops stood for. And I'm like, damn, this shit is deep. What does ops mean? It's just opposition. They just shortened it just to ops. I'm like, oh, okay. And you see what they do on social media with spelling shit. And I'm like, you do know that you didn't need to take that one letter out to shorten it. It's just a 3-letter word. You don't need to shorten it by a letter. You are aware of this, right? And also, you are aware that on your phone, most of these smart devices, if you type in the first 3 letters, it'll actually spell the entire word for you. You do know this, correct or not correct? So they abbreviate everything. They shorten everything. And it really frustrates me when they shorten words that don't need to be shortened. And Commanders shortening it to Commandos is dumb. You literally took out 2 letters, replaced it with 1. So I don't like Commandos either. We're the Commanders. Okay. Okay. As I've stated before, there's no way to shorten this thing. There's no way to jazz it up, spice it up, make it spicy. We're the Commanders. Okay. Santiago Tradell, thank you again for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, Commanders, salute. Be proud of who we are now. Again, some of you embrace it. Some of you will not. And those who aren't embracing it now will if we win. And they might still be like, I still can't stand the name of the team, but shit, we winning. You know, that's all it's about. It's winning, getting the job done, finding a way to win. Tony P56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, the Commandalorians. Gotta say the whole thing like a pimp named Slickback. Exactly. You can't get around it. You know, there's no way to clean this thing up. We're the Commanders. The Commandalorians hopping out of the DeLorean. Rick Quick, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, 3 stars is a bad movie or a crappy hotel. Why can't we get 5 stars? Because 3 stars is the DC logo. That's the city flag. So if you ever see a flag of DC, it's 3 stars followed by the 2 lines. So that's a sign of the city itself. And so that's why you get, like, if you look at the patch on the shoulder, on the right shoulder of the black jersey, you'll see the DC flag. That's the flag. 3 stars, 2 lines underneath the 3 stars. So that's why I talked about the 3 stars continuously, because if you're looking to make this a homegrown product, if you're looking to have DC be one of the selling points, even though we play in Landover, Maryland, then that's why I said 3 stars and 2 stripes. Santiago Tradell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Santiago writes, I'm an ex-Army. I salute our new team and name, go win. Now that makes sense. You know, they said people that were of military ilk would, you know, want to, they wanted to honor them, and they wanted to have something that that would resonate with them, you know. So that does with you, and I think most people that were in the military, army, you know, what may have you, they will have no problems with the name. I don't have any problems with the name. And again, it's not a needle mover for me, but I'm not against the name, and I like the jerseys. What happened? Oh. Pooping for Noopin. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Pooping for Noopin writes, we should just resurrect the name Bullets, Washington Bullets. At least the name isn't as bad as the Wizards. I told you it could have been a lot worse. And I told you they didn't do a terrible job. I mean, they didn't do a great job. You know, I'd give them like a B- C+ for the name. Like, it didn't take a ton of effort. You know, the teacher gave us a study guide. We went over the study guide, and then literally 80% of the test came exactly from the study guide. Like, it wasn't hard to get a B- C+ on this thing. You just had to do the work. Okay. They didn't do anything extravagant here with the name, right? And the uniforms, they're cool. I like them. They could have been better, but I think they did a relatively good job. You know, overall, I think they did a B- C+ job. They like I said, if you did the study guide, if you made corrections to the study guide, if you went over it in class with the teacher when she did it, and you remember what was on the study guide, then most of the test was there for you to get right. So, yeah, I think they did an okay job. AJ Meehan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, name could have been better, but it also could have been worse. Exactly, AJ. Exactly. Black jerseys are dope. Now let's focus on finding a QB and winning. Don't you notice how every one of these comments of someone talking about the jerseys, whether they like them or don't like them, especially if you like them, you say, hey, these are dope, but let's focus on getting a quarterback and winning. Like, that's the end of everyone's statement. Because at the end of the day, and this is what I go back to, Joseph, when we talk about winning and you say, hey, this is a big day, and I'm not saying it's not a big day, it's just not as a big day, as big of a day for me as for some. The reason I say this is because everyone's saying the same thing, and that's because we all want the same thing, and that is to win. So that's why I feel the way that I feel. Thank you for the super chat, AJ Meehan. Tony P56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Tony P writes, why mannequins over players wearing uniforms? Well, for one, how do you know the players wanted to come and show up and do this thing? You know, this is their off season. This is their time. The season was literally just over a month ago. Maybe guys had other things planned. You know, Terry could have said, hey, I got a whole trip planned to Bermuda. I had it planned already. I'm not changing it. I can't be there. You know, I'll help you with everything I can up until that moment, but I can't help you with the actual, you know, jersey. Chase is like, yo, I'm rehabbing right now. I can't be out here, you know, walking around unnecessarily. You know, it's easier to just put the mannequins out there, right? They've done a whole photo shoot. They've done a whole video, and you guys have already told me that's circulating. So they've already done the whole video thing already. They don't need to be out there for that. And it's cold as shit outside. What I look like when, again, it's not like they're doing this inside in a controlled environment where it's nice and warm. It's outside. You know, it's probably literally 30 degrees out there. Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to be out there. I'm not playing in a football game. I don't need to get out there in a uniform. So I assume that's why they're doing mannequins over players. You know, Jonathan Allen was out there in his big bubble coat that he always wears after games. He ain't trying to be out there in a uniform. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Metaphor writes, Commander fries and commie hot dogs. That's all a part of the concession stand at the new stadium. It might be commie fries and a mander dog. A mander dog. Oh man, we're terrible. Colin Jones, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat, Colin Jones. If I see a comment, I'm going to read it from you. My guy Colin writes, I think if they're used to the burgundy helmets on the black unis, as Lou would say, I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. He says, I think if they use the burgundy helmet on the black unis, that it would be dope. I don't know. I'd have to see it first. I don't think that I don't think so, because I think the number being gold, if the numbers on the jerseys were burgundy, then that might change it. But I think the helmets need to be black on the black unis. They could have done a better job with the black helmets, but I like the overall look pretty much. Kevin, the PRF. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Kev, writes, you think the front office will be more aggressive this offseason with the pressure to make the brand launch work? That's interesting. So I think there will be an emphasis this offseason, not just because of the new launch and trying to make this thing take off immediately, although that's a part of the narrative, right, in that building. Dan wants to cash in immediately. He wants people on board immediately. The best way to do that is to win. We've talked about that already. But I think more importantly, overall, they just want to win. And if you're going from a micro approach, then, which I am going with, macro, Dan would like to win now to help the brand from here and grow for down the road. He wants to, because if you how you get people hooked is by winning. The reason there are so many rabid diehard Washington fans is because they won in the past. That's how they got those people hook, line, and sinker, is by winning. You know, if this was a losing franchise since its inception, you wouldn't have as many rabid fans that care about the team now. So if you can win, if you can establish that, you hook people in, hook, line, and sinker. Like, think about this. If your first season rooting for the team was 2012 and that magical Robert Griffin III season, they hooked you that year. Okay, there's never been another year quite like that, where you felt the magic, you felt like we had a franchise quarterback. If that was your first year rooting for the team, they hooked you. You weren't leaving after that. If this is your first year rooting for the team, now you know, maybe you didn't root for this team because we were the Redskins or whatever. And so if this is your first year rooting for the team, and they go out and they go 11-6 and they win a playoff game, that will hook a lot of people. So I think there will be an emphasis to be aggressive, you know, with the new name and things. But I think Ron himself, like, let's take the name and the new rebrand and push it aside. Ron himself in year 3 is looking to be aggressive because the clock's ticking. All right. And one of my favorite memes, or gifts, I should say, is from Judge Judy. She's pointing to her watch and she's banging on the table like, come on, let's go. All right. I need it right now. Ron's in that kind of frame of mind, which is why all of a sudden Deshaun Watson's on the table. Last year, he could afford to not want Deshaun Watson because he was trying to change the culture. This year, he's like, hey, I'm not too good for Deshaun Watson, okay? I'll take anybody that can help us win because that's the frame of mind that they're in now, okay? So things have changed. Things are different. And so for me, I think they are going to be aggressive. Again, just because you're aggressive doesn't mean you're going to come out with any more, you know, any better results. You can be more aggressive. You can squeeze harder only to find out that you didn't have any better results. So we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, I think they are going to be aggressive. They are going to swing for the fences, for the quarterback and things of that nature. But again, I still don't think they're going to come away with anything. So we'll see what happens. Jason Rogers, my guy, Uncle Jay, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, damn, Lou, how much cereal you got in that bowl? Okay, it's a parfait. I made it. It's a lot. It's a lot in here that I mixed. So I'm still munching on it. I figured I would be here for 3-4 hours, so I said I need to make it hearty. So I'm almost done, but it's still a significant amount left. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. King Ghidorah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, they're gonna call us privates. I don't think they're gonna call us that either. But they're gonna call us a lot of things. Just prepare yourself mentally for all of the jokes that will come. The easiest way to swat those jokes away is to make fun of yourself, right? Self-deprecation is what they call that, you know? So if you're already making fun of yourself, then somebody else making fun of you doesn't have as much impact and sting. So we'll see what happens. Colin Jones, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Colin. I think we read this one already, but we'll read it again. I think if they use the burgundy helmets on the black unis, as Lou would say, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Yeah, you mentioned that. I don't know how that would look. Maybe it would look clean. Maybe it would look dope. I tend to think that the black unis probably need to just have the black helmet, but you know, maybe the black unis with the burgundy helmets would look dope. Who knows? I'm picturing it. I don't see it. I don't think it would look all that dope. Maybe not. Tony P56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Tony P writes, I would have died if Wright would have came out and said, I tried. Hey, he would have been better off saying that than some of the stuff he said today, which was, we really did a job trying to keep it a secret. And yeah, all the stuff that he was talking about. If he would have just said, hey, look, man, I tried. Yeah, I tried to keep it on the wraps. We tried our best. And yeah, we fumbled the bag a couple of times along the way, but I'm just glad it's here and we're excited about the new name and the rebrand. He could have said that, but he's not going to say that. There you go. Somebody said 3 stars, 2 bars. That's the DC flag. All right. 3 stars, 2 bars. That's what it's all about. DCJ, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. DCJ, who writes, are they going to show Arnold S for Predator before games for hype? They might. They might, Somebody was talking about Cobra earlier. LOL. He says, you got to get out of here. Get to the chopper. It's such a DC thing. All team names lame. Nats, Caps, United, Wiz, Command, LO. Laughing my ass off. Whack. Look, I'm not a DC fan, other than Washington, the Commanders now. So I could care less. I'm not a Nationals fan. I don't watch hockey, so I'm not a Capitals fan. I'm not a Wizards fan. DC United, I'm not a soccer fan. So none of those names, resonate with me. This is the only one I care about. And is it the best name? No. Is it the worst name? No. I told you it's a B- C+ type of name and rollout. Not rollout, uniforms and things of that nature. I think they did a solid job overall. Lorenzo Simpson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Zoe writes, I'm currently in the Army and the name is trash. Okay, so there's a different perspective. Okay, so on one hand, we've got Santiago Tradell, who was in the Army and loves the name, And then you got Lorenzo Simpson, who is currently in the Army, is like, nah, miss me with that name. That shit goes right over my head. Garbage. All right. So there it is, you know. There it is. And that is exactly how I expected this name to be. Like, divide the fan base, not necessarily like split us apart, but you're gonna have fans on both sides of this thing. They love it, they hate it, they love the jersey, they hate the jerseys. You know, you can't please everybody, you know. Can't please everybody. Get to the chopper. Let's see. Got a name, another super chat here from Jamel Mobley. Thank you for the super chat, Jamel. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, nickname for a commander in the military is CO. Don't know if that will fly with the fans, but that's what it is. CO. So, I mean I guess that could fly in certain instances. Like, you know, you could be like, hey, CO's in the building, you know, but I can't see us saying, all right, man, CO's play at 4. You know, like, I can't see me saying that, you know. The commanders play at 4. Okay, that's how it's going to be for me. I can't speak for anybody else. Thank you for that insight, though. Tony P56. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I'm active duty and I'm getting clowned about this name. You knew you were going to get clowned regardless of what the name was, man. We could have been the Red Wolves. We could have been Red Tails, Red Hogs. We could have been the Warriors, the Renegades. You were going to get clowned no matter what. Brigade, Armada, Admirals. You were going to get clowned no matter what. That's what the new name was going to do. It was going to evoke emotions out of people that were going to lead to them making jokes. So you're going to get clowned. You're going to continue to get clowned. And the only way that you will get the last laugh is if we win. If we lose, they'll clown you even harder, right? Warren Jackson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Warren Jackson writes, Lou, when and how did you become a fan of this team? I'll give you the short version. I've lived in Virginia all my life. We have no team here. Obviously, we don't have a team in the state of Virginia. So the closest team was Washington. I watched a bunch of TV growing up, and pretty much I am a fan of every team that I saw on television first and the most. So I'm a Braves fan. Why? Because I saw the Braves. They were on TBS, Turner Broadcasting System. They had their own, channel essentially. They were on all the time. That's how I became a Braves fan. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, same thing. They've been on NBC since I can remember. So that's how I became a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan. Duke was big in the early 90s. When I was coming up, that's with the Grant Hill, Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley teams. We were winning. They were on all the time. That's how I became a Duke Blue Devils fan in college basketball. So forth and so forth. And that's how I became a Washington Redskins fan. They were on. And remember, when I was growing up, they were actually good. Okay? They were winning. They just won a Super Bowl. So they were the hot thing then. And that's how I became a fan. There's no real extravagant story there. That's what it is. Hey, I gotta ask, how many times, Angel, how many times you gonna laugh, man? You've been laughing the whole time we've been up here. Anyway, I digress. So that's the last super chat. So to wrap this up, all right, in closing, as we go back to the original screen. if I can find it. I don't even remember where I was. I think I was here. Probably should just stay here because I don't remember what I clicked on to get where I was. I'm just going to stay here. In closing, to wrap this thing up, our name is what we thought it was going to be, what has been leaked for, I don't know, the last 3 weeks strong, but really, these innuendos have been floating around for months now. But the last few weeks have been just in your face. Commanders. So we are the Washington Commanders officially. They did a terrible job with the rollout. But the thing that, to me, was the most significant about today was what are we looking like? What's the logo look like? Which we already had an idea what it looked like. What do the uniforms look like? What's the color scheme? Well, we got answers to all of those things today. And I must say, I'm somewhat satisfied with what I've seen. And I'm going to watch the video after this stream is over, the one you guys have been telling me about, to get a better sense of what they look like on an actual physical human. So I like what the uniforms look like. I like the helmets. I like everything. You guys talked about the hats, and they look dope. I'm going to go check some of those out. And so everything that I've seen to this point gives me hope that we can take this, bottle it up, this energy, and maybe find a way to take advantage of this whole brand new reboot and rebrand. We'll see. But I appreciate everybody for joining me. I didn't know how many of you would join me this morning. It was early. You guys were ready to get after it bright and early this morning. Some of you from the left coast, is 4 a.m. and you're joining me. I really do truly appreciate all of you. This family that we've created, it's awesome. And I couldn't ask for any more. So thank all of you guys for joining me. I got a super chat here from Jake Willis. Thank you for the super chat, Jake Willis. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. What you talking about, Willis? Who writes, "We are the Commanders," or the Commandeers. We are the Commandeers. So, with that said, we are the Commanders. I think that's the perfect way to end this. We are the Commanders. Like it or don't like it, we are, in fact, the Commanders. So, with that said, I'm going to glide to the side, allow you to get back to your day. Hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. I'll see most of you later on for the podcast. Got a lot of interesting topics to jump on top of, including Brian Flores and his lawsuit against the NFL, Tom Brady retiring. We'll talk more about this name on the podcast and so much more. Also, for those of you who are members of the MOBB or Patreon, once again, you will be getting Malik Willis's Draft Prospects 101 breakdown today, the sneak peek. That will be available at 12 o'clock noon today, so be on the lookout for that. Meanwhile, if you aren't, you will have access to it tomorrow. And again, all the exclusive content, rankings, big boards, all of that stuff, more insight will be only for Mob members and Patreon subscribers. So make sure that if you're not a part of the MOBB or Patreon, you become a part of it. Once again, thank you to everyone for joining us today. We are the Commanders. Hashtag take command. Until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And I am a Washington fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Washington spirit will never die. Washington spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, take command. You guys have a good one, man. LouieTeeNetwork.